Hello, gamers. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of the meme stream. Host of the nightmare. The nightmare really has gotten worse. All right. And I'm happy to have you. All right. So, what a day after the election. Votes are still coming in, but Harris got cooked. Definitely cooked. How are we feeling today? Well, I mean, like upset. I mean, like the candidate that I wanted to win, and the candidate that lost, and the candidate that I really didn't want to win, definitely won. So, huge L's going on. I wanted to do a couple of things. I wanted to take just like a bit off, because I didn't want to hit you all too hard with like everything. And I think we all deserved a little break. Honestly, I think we all deserve like a little day break after Erection Day. Honestly, so okay. Wait a second. Let me go back to stream. I accidentally turned on the chat protection in Streamlabs of the chat bot, and I forgot that it kind of is crazy. It's a really insane bot. Give me 1 second. Chat box. He's really angry. Let me turn this back down. Okay, you should be free now. You should be free now. Every day I wake up in pain. All right, but I wanted to do a couple of things this stream. I thought it would be kind of interesting. Couple things that we need to talk about to get done. After Erection Day. Obviously went quite poorly, but I want to talk about some reasons for why it went poorly. Like I said in the Election Day stream, like a full biopsy, or I guess autopsy, my bad, because we were doing biopsies beforehand. Now we need an autopsy. Where's chat? Oh yeah, you're so right. I had to take it off because I hopped on Dylan's stream for at the end of the stream last time. Give me one singular memento. Where the heck are you? Oh no. Oh no. In my widgets. I forgot that I put a whole bunch of stuff in my widget folder. There we go. We're back. We're back and better than ever. Okay. Yeah, so there's like a couple things we got to get done. Like I said in the Erection Day video, like a full autopsy is not going to be possible just yet. We were doing biopsies before, but now it's dead. So an autopsy is not going to be possible. I'm going to wait for a little while until we get the Pew data in, because it's way more it's way more reliable than, for one, the exit poll data, which is usually ass, and two, the like polls and stuff taken directly afterwards, because a lot of people are kind of like checked out. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit. So be wary of people's takes going into this. But I think first thing, like top of the stream at the moment, that I really want to touch on. I've been watching a lot of depressing YouTube videos these past 24 hours. I will say one thing. I'm a little hopeful. Not about what Trump's gonna do. He's gonna cook something evil, and he's doing it at the moment. Actually, he said day one he's going to try to revoke birthright citizenship. So, that's not good. But I think top of the hour, I want to go over my I want to go over my prediction, my statewide, my countrywide prediction over the election, and also what actually happened. So I want to do like a back to back on that, because people on the YouTube channel did not. I actually never posted my my full election prediction on YouTube. You guys, a lot of YouTube frogs actually never got to see that. So I want to go over that, what I thought would happen, and I, you know, like right there, what actually happened, side by side, why I thought what I thought, and why some things I thought were right and some were wrong, and maybe some things were right and wrong in different directions. So I wanted to take a look at that. Just uno momento. Can I? Where the heck is? I'm gonna pull up the Bloomberg map, but the Bloomberg map is kind of ass looking right now. State map. Do they just turned off? They turned off their map. God dang it. Okay. Can I get the New York Times map to come up then? Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. Shark, hey, what's going on? The stream name is the same as last time on YouTube. Really? Okay, wait, let me see if I can fix that. Because the stream name should be Orange Man is Back. That's what on Twitch. Twitch Chatterinos. Is it the same? Like Orange Man is Back, or is it? Oh, the name. Oh yeah, the thumbnail changed. The thumbnail changed, but the name didn't. Thanks for letting me know. I guess I may not have been able to catch that. Appreciate it. Thank you. Still said election day coverage on Twitch. Does it still say election day coverage? Give me 1 sec. I gotta check this. Let us see. No, Orange Man is Back is on Twitch. Okay. No, Twitch is good. Okay. Okay, I should have changed it. Let me know if the YouTube name changes on your end. All right. Orange Man back on both. Perfect. Okay. So for a lot of the YouTube frogs, you all didn't ever get to see my actual election prediction. I dropped a video on why I believe that I believe Kamala Harris would take most of the swing states. Obviously, that was wrong. But I wasn't wrong about one thing, which was that if anybody was going to win this election, they would win most, if not all, of the swing states. And that did happen, just not for the right candidate. So I don't want to go over my prediction map, why I thought what I did, why I thought why I thought what I did, where I was right, where I was wrong, and how all that knits up into how we think about elections and those types of things moving on into the future. I want to talk about a couple things now that the election is over. Not all the votes are fully counted yet. But there's some good. There's a whole lot of bad, a whole lot of red too. But I think there's a really interesting reason for that. So I want to just take a look at this here side by side between the map of what I thought and what happened and the map of what actually did. My camera is broken. My camera is broken. I'm Peepo Shark. Hey, all right. Hey, all right. All right, we're back. Okay, so on the left here, you're going to see my prediction map and the actual prediction map. Okay, so for my map, this is the one that I posted on the Bird app. Let me expando. For my map, I had Kamala Harris taking almost all of the swing states, picking up Iowa, but losing Georgia. I was really iffy on Arizona. I thought, in my opinion, I was like, Arizona could go either way, but I was like, if I'm gonna go all in, I'm gonna go all in, right? Might as well just go in. Like I said, somebody's going to win almost everything, and that did happen. But but like I said, the wrong guy did. So why did I believe what I believed and how I feel about my election, about my prediction, right? Because I thought it was, because I think it's actually pretty interesting. So I guess we'll start here at the top. The three most important states, the states that Kamala Harris really needed to be able to win, that she absolutely dropped the ball in. Let me pull up my 270 map, 270 to win map, the interactive map that just about everybody uses, right? So let's see. Let's do a bink, like a bink pink a bink, right? Let's do this and let me pull this over, okay? So when it comes to, like, you all know this, when it comes to the election, a Democrat, their golden brick road, their pathway to 270 usually always runs through the Rust Belt states. Way less than before, because during the 2020 census, both Michigan and Pennsylvania did lose electoral votes, but it still reaches 270. She could have lost literally everything else on the map, but still would have been able to win the election if she picked up this. Now, why I believe that she could pick up the swing states here in the Great Lakes was like a couple of reasons. One, they're ancestrally Democratic. Democrats usually pick them up, and they usually vote Democratic. All of these states have been trending Democratic when it comes to their votes since Brandon got into office. And another reason, a big reason, was because of Iowa specifically. Iowa, like I explained in the video that I uploaded right before the election about why I believe that the swing states could be trending left up here in the Great Lakes, while the Rust Belt could be trending left, was specifically because of the Ann Selzer poll and other polls out of Iowa showing Iowa to the left of where it was in 2020. And like, I just little wrap up. If you remember, if Iowa moves to the left of where it voted, or the right of where it voted, the Rust Belt states usually move in that direction as well. And we are not necessarily sure until we normally get an Ann Selzer poll, who has one of the best track records, or at least had one of the best track records of any pollster in the entire country, until a couple days ago, where they had Kamala Harris up 3 points, where she had Kamala Harris up 3 points in Iowa before a couple days ago. The Ann Selzer's worst poll out of Iowa was 5 points wrong. And I based my prediction of the swing states staying in the Democratic column based off of the Selzer poll being 11 points wrong. It was actually 13 points wrong, meaning that Iowa would actually trend to the right, taking the Rust Belt states with them, because they have a similar demographic, with Iowa simply being further right to the rest of these states up here, right? And so that's why this was wrong up here. And the big reason for why is because, not necessarily because Donald Trump really gained voters, but Democrats just didn't come out. They didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris. A lot of ballot initiatives and a lot of downstream down ballot Democrats did okay, except for Pennsylvania, where Bob Casey we're pretty sure, lost his race. So Pennsylvania now has a Republican senator again, unfortunately. Huge cringe. But Michigan and Wisconsin still were able to hang on. Timmy Baldwin and Alyssa Slotkin were able to win their seats. Michigan still not folding, voting for a Republican on the statewide level in the presidential race, even in this election cycle, Republicans have still not been able to pick up a singular Michigan Senate seat in 20 years. Glad that's able to stay the course. So we're happy about that, at least. That's the issue. Dems didn't vote. They didn't vote. In Wisconsin here, one of the most damning things is that here in Milwaukee, or like Dane County for I think 20 years has been trending left every single election cycle until 2024, where it trended right for the first time. Nobody actually, even the people who had the worst predictions for Kamala Harris this election did not actually expect Dane County to trend to the right. But the sheer amount of non-turnout from Democrats pushed Wisconsin and pushed Dane County to the right for one of the first times in since we've been alive. Honestly, almost everybody's been alive. Nobody expected Trump to win, and that's why he won. Everybody thought Harris had in the bag. That is absolutely not true. Everybody thought it was is going to be a pretty close race, at least when it comes to the margins in states. At least when it comes to the margins in states. When it comes to the states themselves, that's a different story. But when it comes to the margins inside of states, everybody thought they were going to be close elections, and for the most part, they were. That didn't change. For the most part, they absolutely were. Very close. 1 point between 1 point in literally 1 point and less than 1 point in like literally every single state, except for North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada, where they're like between 2 and 3 points. So yeah, not surprising there. Practically every county trended to the right. Yeah, everywhere trended to the right because Democrats did not turn out. So that's what I based my swing state my Rust Belt prediction on, because I was like, you know what, in just Ann Seltzer we trust. In literally any other election literally in any other direct election, that would have been a perfectly fine and pretty safe guess. And I was like, I'm not sure if this poll is right. So that's why I took a range of 11 points to the right as my baseline, which would have put it just very slightly to the left of 2020. But like I said, it was 13 points, which actually put it to the right of 2020, making the states move to the right, which is what actually happened. There for North Carolina, what I was basing that off of was basically how close Robinson and Trump's campaigns were, and how Robinson literally, the porn pizza black Nazi, blew up his campaign so bad that I thought it would help drag down Trump's campaign. And if Kamala Harris was able to make this a closer election, still like when it comes to the margins, like the polls were showing, then that could help push her over the edge. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily wrong, because still the race is within 2 points, and there are places that still need to be counted. We don't have all of the votes left in. We don't have all the votes in everywhere yet, so we're just going to have to see how the votes actually become certified. It could even be pushed within 2 points at the end of this, which isn't too bad of a result compared to 2020. It's just slightly more to the right, but obviously still not a win. Maybe this would have been more to the right if Robinson wasn't running, but obviously like no matter what, it didn't. Kamala Harris did not win it, so that's what happened there. For me, when it comes to real long shot picks, I would say my real long shot picks were Iowa and North Carolina as my long shot picks if Kamala Harris were to win. The Iowa one was quite wrong, and the North Carolina one, I mean, I don't feel too bad about that, and I don't feel too bad about trusting Ann Seltzer. I'm not gonna feel bad about thinking that Ann Seltzer poll might be within 11 points of being correct. So I'm not gonna feel bad about this one up here. When it comes to Arizona, though, I did feel like if any state that Trump was going to overperform in, it was probably going to be Arizona. In my original election prediction for the race earlier in the year, I think it was late September, early October, something like that. Around that range when I decided to give my just share my first my vibe check on the race. I felt like Arizona would probably be the one that would slip further away from Democrats than the other states, mostly because I mean, like TPUSA and a lot of other conservative organizations are really in Arizona. They're dug in. They weren't able to get Carrie Lake in last time, and they weren't able to get Carrie Lake in this time, but they definitely have a footprint there, and they have a large operation. I wrote on Twitter a little while ago when somebody was asking me about why I didn't make Arizona blue in my first guess, was because of that reason. If there was any spot where Harris's campaign was getting outworked, it was definitely Arizona because they just have like a stronger, more embedded, more aged get out the vote operation, because Arizona has been a conservative state for way longer than Democrats have been able to win a statewide election. Now Democrats have almost all statewide boards and seats taken from Republicans. It's the presidential race is still up in the air, but but the Republican machine, when it comes to pumping out candidates, is still ass. They were able to get away with ass candidates for a while, but now that Democrats are strong enough to be able to contend with them and kind of go blow for blow in a lot of ways, the ass candidates from these states are just not going to be able to make it a lot of the time, and so that's why Gallo was able to crush Kari Lake while Kamala Harris was not able to take it. If there's any states that do vote splitting, I would absolutely say North Carolina, Arizona, and Wisconsin are states that do that, and now to I think a lesser extent Nevada, but Nevada is trending more to the right than I think a lot of these other states are. Historically, I felt that like Nevada was a much safer pick than a lot of the other ones, because even in 2016, Trump was not able to take Nevada. This time that changed. One of the reasons for why I rated Nevada as remaining in Harris's column specifically was because of decent turnout numbers out of Clark from somebody who's been watching Nevada for years, decades even, and he's never really made a call explicitly wrong before when it comes to his actual prediction. And so I based a lot of these guesses on predictions from people who have a good track record and who have been watching their states specifically for a while. And he said he gave Kamala Harris a very small a win. So I was like, you know what? Let's just run it. Republicans haven't won it in like 20 years, and this guy who's been watching for a while said that, but this was wrong. Thankfully, Jackie Rosen was able to hold on to her seat, or else the Senate would be looking really bad for Democrats. Thankfully, it's just looking pretty bad instead. So that's where my Nevada pick came from. I don't think many people felt like Nevada was really going to go red, but it did. But it really surprised. Clark did not come out. A lot of the Clark County votes did not come out at all. At first, in the beginning of the day on election day, Clark was looking a whole lot better than it was beforehand in the early votes. So Democrats weren't showing up in the early vote before election day, but the early vote on election day was trending way more blue, and blue for the first time, while the early vote was red for the first time in comparison. And so people were like, oh, the Democrats are showing up on election day as opposed to early vote, which is what a lot of people assumed, which was going to happen since we are in a pandemic. And I do believe that's not necessarily wrong, because these states are still incredibly close. They just didn't show up in the numbers that they would need to be able to overcome the more enthusiastic Republicans that were able to come out there. Georgia, I rated red. I just didn't really believe there was any good reason for why Kamala Harris would carry Georgia this year. I do believe that it's close, and I do believe that a lot of people thought that Georgia might be that state that could really go. In my opinion, I felt like Arizona right now is way more accepting of Democrats than Georgia is, because when it comes down to it, Arizona Democrats can get more votes statewide than Arizona Republicans, and popular Arizona Democrats can get more votes than popular Georgia. Popular Arizona Democrats can get more votes than popular Arizona Republicans in the state. That's not necessarily the case in Georgia. Like if you look back at 2020, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Raphael Warnock and Ossoff, all of these people were barely able to get over 2 million votes, and Ossoff and Warnock did not reach 2 million votes actually. But in 2022, when Brad Raffensperger and their DA, Brad Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, two very popular Republicans in the state, ran, they were able to get over 2 million votes and really crush their opponent that was running on the Democratic ticket, and on the same exact ticket, when Raphael Warnock was forced to run again, Warnock was not able to actually crack 2 million. And what the hell was that dude's name? I'm not Dash Schmort. What the hell was his name? Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker just got less votes because he was just unpopular. But popular Republicans in Georgia are the most popular politicians in Georgia. Popular Democrats in Georgia just run against less popular Republicans. If Warnock ran, who's the most popular statewide Democrat right now, ran against Brian Kemp, I think Brian Kemp would crush him. I think Brian Kemp would crush him, or at least win. Or at least win. Like I think it would be close, but I don't think that when it comes to their peaks, Republicans still have the upper hand in Georgia, and which is why I believe that Georgia was not going to flip. So when it comes to my map, and what I felt like was going to happen, which is that somebody was going to win. Just in my opinion, it was Kamala Harris who had the wind at her back, which not true. She had no win. She was winless, dripless, sauceless going into election day. On when it all came down to it, I don't feel too bad because my predictions weren't based off of like literally nothing. I didn't pull it out of my ass. I can handle being wrong as long as I'm not wrong as a dumbass. As long if I'm not like, well, I think this person would win just because I simply just want them to win. As long as I base it off of something that's not completely crazy, I think I'll be okay. And when it comes down to it, the margins in these states are still very small. I said a while ago, when I was looking at some polls that were all moving in opposite directions of somebody like, I have no clue what's going on. I said you can kind of believe whatever you want at the moment, and nobody can really tell you you're crazy because they don't really know either. And you know, I kind of feel that way still. As long as you make a guess that's not completely out of your ass, like the Tim Pool 49 state landslide, that was actually just that was actually simply just vibes. I don't think that you've made too much of a bad decision. I don't think you've made too much of a bad decision. And listen, okay? If you're going to say bad call because I thought Ann Selzer might be within 11 points of being correct, you just want to feel good about yourself. You just want to feel good about yourself leaving election day. Let's just be honest with ourselves, right, buddy? Let's just be honest with ourselves. So my map, I would say wrong, quite wrong. Aged poorly, but you know, not aging as poorly as the Democratic Party itself, in my opinion. What did you guys have predictions? Did you guys have prediction maps? This is my first time really doing a prediction map. Like I talk about how I feel about races, but I don't like drop like, here's my prediction. Do you think this could have gone differently if Biden and the Dems didn't wait so long to announce Harris? Yeah, I think, listen, I think at the end of the day, the big thing that happened, if you want my take, at the end of the day, the big thing that happened is that people were just angry that just angry at inflation. I saw a poll earlier out today that asked people, what would you want more? Would you want the amount of money you make to go up or for prices to go down? And 60% of people said they want prices to go down, and only 30% of people said they want the money they make to go up. Like at the end of the day, people are just completely crazy about inflation, and they just want the president. They want a president who's going to press the inflation go down button. They want a president to press the make Fruit Loops cost less button. That's what they want. And so with that said, I don't really think that there was going to be any. In my opinion, actually, I don't think that there was going to be much that that like almost any Democrat could have done to win. I think that there's things that Harris could have done better to get more votes. I do think that there's things that another Democrat in their place could have done to get more votes, but winning and getting more votes are two different things. Those are they're definitely two different things. At the end of the day, people were just not excited to vote for somebody who says with their full chest, I don't really think that I don't there's nothing really that I would do differently than Joe Biden, for one, and somebody who does not promise to press the inflation go down button. Do you think Biden would have had a better chance of winning or no? I'm just gonna pause the music really quick. Everybody's looking for a reason for why the Democrats could have done something differently, and how we all would have reacted as voters for when it comes to that. But how are we gonna look at the map? How are we gonna look at this map and then go to ourselves and say, what we needed was a more unpopular candidate? What we really needed to run this time to win in 2024 was a more unpopular candidate. Somebody who had a worse approval rating than Kamala Harris, who had the second worst approval rating in the race, outside of her running mate who had the best approval rating in the race. All we needed was somebody less popular than Kamala Harris to win, to run, and we would have done it. Nah. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. If Joe Biden ran, I think New Jersey may have become red. I think we may have lost Jersey, dog. If Biden ran, absolutely a W kicking Biden out of the office. Absolute W not having an open primary. I know people are coping and saying that we definitely should have had an open primary. Do you really genuinely think that like more time spent on infighting 100 days before the election was supposed to happen was going to lead to more victory for Democrats across the country? No, dog. It absolutely would not have happened. Would not have worked that way. That's insane. No. What I think, and a lot of people are like, yeah, maybe we should have picked someone different than Kamala Harris. Dude, I don't think so. What in that situation? Nah. If we're talking about if we go back, way back, all right, back to 2020, where the centrist Dems screwed over Borny, and they all coalesced into the Blue Dog Megatron to be able to defeat Warren and Bernie Sanders, and more specifically Bernie. And then Biden got in, and we were talking about then, and we could sit down Biden, we could force him to choose. The time has come for you to choose a direction for where to go, and we're like, okay, you don't run for election, for re-election this entire time in 2020 because we know Trump is going to be back. We're going to groom someone to be your successor, and then we pick the best person there. I think we definitely could have had a better chance here. 100 days before the election, I don't think anybody else could have gotten $1 billion and ran a race that Harris did, with the groundwork that she had, because I think somebody would have either been here or further behind Harris when it comes to this situation. In the situation we were in, I think the best choice was made. And I think a lot of people cope a little bit about like the Harris pick with her going forward. I think a lot of people weren't looking at how people were feeling, how Democrats specifically were feeling after Biden got out of the race. When asked who's going to take up the mantle and move forward after Biden, Kamala Harris was winning over every other potential Democrat by like 30 points. Kamala Harris would have won if Kamala Harris would have won like a jungle DNC convention. She would have won a contested convention there, but I don't think she would have won if we would have started in 2020, which is where we should have started this. Kamala should have gone on Joe Rogan. This map and a Harris win is not one Joe Rogan podcast away. It is not one Joe Rogan podcast away. It's not. I hate to be the one to tell you this. It's not. It really isn't. It's not. 50 Joe Rogans, that's true. They also didn't let her on Rogan. I mean, at the end of the day, it was her choice. She didn't want to leave the Rust Belt to go to Texas. Had Biden not tried to run against an open primary, I think there would have been a better chance for Democratic victory. I don't think so at all. But I still think whatever candidate would have been picked, use populist rhetoric. I mean, they would have still lost. I think whoever's gonna get picked was gonna lose. But when it comes to I still don't. I'm 100% firm on the DNC jungle primary being an ass idea. I'm still no matter what, I don't think my mind is changing on that one. I think that's still a completely ass idea. I don't think that there's any way that was going to produce a good outcome. The party closing around the party closing down around the candidate and starting to push forward, I think was way better. Especially, not sorry, I keep saying jungle primary. I just say that because it's like they're monkeys in the DNC. Um, but like a contested convention. Basically, I really don't think that was going to lead to a good. That was going to lead to a better outcome. I personally don't believe so. From everything that I've seen, I personally don't think so. But you know, we can say whatever now, right? The election's over. More than 15 million missing voters showing up. No. Okay, one thing on the 20 million, 15 million, because that number still keeps going down. You know why that used to be 20 million and now it's 15 million? Is because votes are still getting counted across the entire country. Like, we're not done counting votes right now. If you guys didn't know, like, I know right now it seems like there was a whole lot less voters at the moment. What we're thinking of. So at the moment, what we're on track to have is 4 million more voters than 2020 and not 20 million less, or 25 or whatever million less voters. We're looking at 20. We're looking at the projections are 4 million voters more this year compared to 2020. So be careful. Why are you saying be careful, Shark? What do you mean? Welcome back, Shark. Happy to have you. Stop the count. Stop the count. If Trump has worse inflation and an economy than right now, do you think people will ignore it and live in denial, or actually wake up? Do they blame Des again? Okay, so here's how it works. Okay, a Republican gets in office because people think the Democrat did a bad job on the economy by fixing the economy, but not fast enough. They then fuck up the economy quickly, but it takes a while to fix the economy, and so then they lose. So then, and they don't fix the economy because Republicans economic positions are ass. And then when they lose or they just run out of time in office, a Democrat gets in and then slowly fixes the economy, but they don't fix it fast enough. So then they're like, man, Republicans would do so much better, and so they punish the Democrats and get in. Here's the thing. Here's what's gonna happen. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. Our economy is actually in a pretty delicate position right now. If Donald Trump's tariffs and whatever else and like his mass deportation, whatever other bullshit that he wants to get done actually gets done, the economy is going to crash very quickly. Very, very quickly. A lot of companies are actually bracing for that at the moment. Many people are saying this. And so they would blame Trump. A lot of Trump supporters would never blame Trump for what's what's wrong. They would just blame all the billionaires that put him in office to begin with. And blame like George Soros or whatever, like trans people for buying too many hormones and spiking the economy or something or whatever. But remember in 2020, Trump didn't lose 2020 because Trump didn't lose in 2020 because people thought he was great on the economy or anything. And I think COVID played a big role. But at the end of the day, Trump lost because they were like, people were like, this guy has no clue what he's doing. And the economy is bad and inflation was starting to go up. Trump couldn't escape inflation. The Democrats couldn't escape inflation. And Trump's plan is running on even more inflation. If Trump actually is able to get done what he's able to get done, what he wants to be able to do, by the time 2026 rolls around, it will definitely be worse than 2018 for him and Republicans. No, he does and will get punished for a bad economy. It's just that inflation was longer, and COVID was actually under Biden's administration. It started at the end. Remember, it's COVID-19. It started in 2020. Really, it started at the end of 2019 and at the beginning of 2020. Trump was out of office January 2021. All of COVID and all of the ramifications of COVID happened under Biden. They all happened under Biden's administration. So even though Trump fucked it, it happened under Biden's administration. So that's why people blame him now, and that's why people remember him. Remember him being. That's why people remember under Trump things were better, and under Biden things were worse. That's why people feel that way, because under Trump it just got started, and under Biden he had to try and fix it. And remember, Trump got clapped on COVID before the worst part of COVID even hit. The worst cases happened under Biden. The worst economic issues happened under Biden. The vaccine, the biggest vaccine rollouts happened under Biden. The biggest economic decision that had to be made happened under Biden. Not Trump. Trump was already clapped when it got started. This was cancer for a president. Honestly, this was a cancer, a blight on a president. Before Trump could fuck it up even more, he was already out of office. And he got cooked for how bad the economy was getting before it even got as bad as it did. And so no, I don't think that Trump is able to survive a bad economy. No president is able to survive a bad economy. This is just it's just not possible. It's just not possible. No, you will be clapped and it will hurt. Do you think Junior or the other Trump kids will run, or will the Republican Party find somebody else and possibly implode? I don't know what's going to happen with Trumpism after Trump and the Republicans after Trump. It's very difficult to say. It's very difficult to say what's going to happen. I really don't know. I really don't know. Trumpism is going to stay for a really long time, because now they feel like they have the mandate of heaven to go forward, since Trump is more likely than not won the popular vote. Dr. Jaggy, thank you so much for the tier 1. Bezos Bucks joined the frenzy. That's not Bezos Bucks. Sorry, I was thinking about a Twitch sub. Sorry. Thanks for your bucks, not Bezos Bucks. I appreciate you for the tier 1 on the site. Welcome back. I've been waiting for the best streamer to return. I was waiting for one of the best chatters to return as well. Nice to have you. Thank goodness he's 80 and not in great health. Yeah, he's not gonna be here for very long. He ain't gonna be here for very long. What's up, Alec? How's married life? So yeah, that's what I all think is going on. Yeah, so crazy. Obviously, Harris could have done more stuff. But I will say one thing: if there's anything good to come from this, dog, you know what I've seen? I've seen the progressive like heart being like jump started when Biden got into office. Progressivism and the progressive movement really just kind of died down, perished. Since honestly, since like 9 p.m. on election day, I heard the drums of liberty. I heard the drums of freedom. I heard the beat of freedom. There was like there was the heart jumped back into action. Really, I was actually very surprised to see it happen. If anything happens, I'm very happy to see that happen. I think it's time for progressive to really prey upon the Democratic Party and sell a lot of parts, and sell a lot of it for parts. I think it's time. I think it's time to pounce. But I have some other ideas here that I want to talk about here in a bit about all that. The Dems are really vulnerable at the moment. It's really time to pounce. AOC, honestly, AOC should really make a move. Should, like, Bernie, AOC, Warren, they should really make a move. Need to become more edgy. I'm not sure what edgy necessarily means. I think Democrats should become more evil. Definitely. I think they should become like ravenous. I think they should become creatures who walk on all fours and stalk Republicans in the night, in the dead of night. We have to do something, okay?
There was no other way. The world
Had to be fixed. It's because there's no other way.
There was no other way. The world had to be fixed.
There's no other way. There's no other option for them. There's no other direction for them to go. There was no other way. The world had to be fixed. There was no other way. It has to be done. It has to be done. Evil Arc, let's go. It's time. It's definitely time. Do you think we could see a replacement or more left alternative for the Democratic Party is actually viable in our lifetime? Yeah, definitely. Listen, I've said it before, I've said it again. Our elections have become so nationalized, and a lot of people forget that there's tens of thousands of down ballot races where there are many progressives locally, and municipality, that's also locally, but another way to say local, that are working their way up through the electoral process. No, there's absolutely going to be somebody. Right now, I'm not sure. AOC, I think, would be good if she had more ambition to her, but we need somebody kind of need somebody ravenous, a little evil, somebody who has somebody who really wants to stick it to chuds, and also has and also has the sort of electoral power ambitions that you would only that would be that's the electoral sort of power ambitions that would be talked about in the Bible. You know what I mean? We need somebody really like that. We really need somebody like that. Xantera, thanks for the 2. Thanks for the tier 2. Favorite emotes out for Xantera. That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. I've been watching on YouTube. For a while now, so I figured it's probably time to give somebody for all the entertainment. Hey, thanks for paying the YouTube tax. I appreciate you. But in all honesty, thank you so much for all the support over all the years and everything. I'm glad I'm able to give you anything. So and enough to be able for you to feel comfortable giving back to the channel by more than enough, which is simply by you being here and enjoying yourself. So thank you so much for paying the shark tariffs. I appreciate you. Thank you. The shark tax, the YouTube tax is what we call it. Thank you. Thank you. I really hope this marks the death of civility politics. That's actually what I want to talk about today. I'm going to be honest with you. That's one thing that I really want to talk about today. I do think it's time. I definitely think it's time. It's time. I really think it's time for Democrats to rip the Band-Aid off and just do what needs to be done. There's really no other way. The world has to be fixed. It's time for Dems to, unfortunately, become evil. This is something that I've been milling over for a little while. This idea that the Democrats really need a sort of fundamental change in who they are, because I think it's really time, and a really fundamental change in who they are. And I know this is kind of played out. It's talked about a lot, but not necessarily in this way. I feel like people kind of have this overarching view that really misses the point of how Democrats should really change. A lot of people are like, oh, they should be more labor focused and more progressive in this way. All of those things are true. But I think it's less of Democrats need to become more progressive, and I think Democrats really need to become more ravenous. And some people, even in the more common view, is that a lot of people believe that Democrats need to become more like Republicans. They need to become more conservative. In some way, I do actually think that Democrats need to become more like Republicans, but not when it comes to policy. and not necessarily even for when it comes to aesthetics. I think Democrats need to become more like Republicans. Not even when it comes to the sort of like there's been this idea kind of floating around recently for a long time, like we need our own left wing Andrew Tate, we need our own left wing Joe Rogan, maybe, but I want to touch on that in a little bit. What I mean is that we need to become more like Republicans in the sense of becoming ravenous, becoming a bit more unscrupulous, a bit more heated, right? I have to be careful with bloodthirst. We need to become bloodlusted, okay? We on the power scaling charts, okay? Democrats are very low. Bloodlusted Democrats are they're galaxy level. They are a galaxy level threat, honestly. And what I mean by that is that let's just kind of look back at why I think this, because some people kind of like hearing this may not really get it. I kind of want to explain what I mean. We've been talking a little bit about I call it the TikTokification of the Republican Party, or I guess like the Twitterification, YouTubeification, how terminally online Republicans have become, and how completely disconnected from the real world they have become, and how conspiracy brained and insane they have become. And I think that's wrong, but I don't necessarily believe that that's bad politics. And here's why. When it comes to it can be. But let's just take one thing for an example, okay? Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis came on the scene by being a complete weirdo, freak, loser, who nobody really cared about, and who barely won his election in Florida a little while ago. Ron DeSantis has become a culture war juggernaut on the American political scene, who originally was doing pretty all right when it comes to politics. He's not smart enough to be able to really make good on the power that he probably could have. But when it comes to what he is doing, he is doing something very successfully. Very stupid, but very successfully. Let's take his Twitter arc. Okay, do you all remember the Ron DeSantis Twitter arc that happened, where DeSantis's policy proposals and campaign basically revolved around what was going popular on conservative Twitter that day? And I'm not even joking. He did his presidential campaign bid kickoff in Twitter Spaces. His administration literally follows libs of TikTok, the Twitter account, and finds their policy prescriptions based on the videos and the posts that Twitter account makes day in and day out. If you remember when libs of TikTok had their identity made public because they forgot to actually hide it and make it private, when Chaya Raichik actually was made public, Ron DeSantis himself on his account commented under the post and said, "I will host you at the Florida governor's mansion to protect you from radical leftists if you need help, Chaya." This person is constantly on Twitter. Every day he's on Twitter. The Don't Say Gay bill came from Twitter posts. They wrote a bill based on Twitter posts. And it became one of the most popular conservative bills of the last 5 years that now has copycats across the entire country. It works. It's stupid, but it works. And I've been saying this for a pretty long time, is that Democrats can copy a lot of the things that work from Republicans, but simply not be stupid, just not lie, right? We can, if the Democrats of Republicans' dreams existed, this would be a one-party state. I hate to be the one to say it, but this would be a one-party state. It would be. It would be. Because people like Democrats, not actual Democrats. They like Democratic policies, but they don't like Democratic politicians. Democratic politicians run from Democratic policies and more left-wing policies because Republicans have happily made the word liberal a dirty word. And so what they do is they tack to the right, which is a huge issue. And we saw this in the Kamala Harris campaign where her advisors told her that the word liberal was associated with herself and was making her more unpopular, and how that was an issue. And she brought on Liz Cheney. Now, she didn't change her actual positions, but she did change her aesthetics, and that was the problem as well. But I want to preface this by saying I don't think this would have made her win if she changed, but I think it would have been better as well to not do that. You guys have been so nice here. I'm trying to yap, and you guys are being so nice. Okay, just give me a second. Let me shout out you guys. Okay, let me just take a quick break. Tyrannix, thanks for the gifted sub. To Lucky, favorite emotes out for Tyrannix for the couple gifted sub. Thank you so much. I coped myself into believing voters wouldn't be so grug brain about inflation. I shouldn't be allowed to speak about your country's politics ever again. Inflation is the big killer. Inflation is the big killer. The economy is the big killer. Actually, almost nothing. If the economy is just humming along, lots of things matter. If the economy is bad, nothing matters besides the economy, and that's it. That's it. Thank you so much for the gift sub. Zero Saber. Thank you so much for the tier 1 as well. Hey Shark, I'm from KY as well. Yo, KY Frog. And I just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Miss your content. It always provided hope and catharsis. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you. I'm happy to be back. Unfortunately, I haven't been doing super well. 2024 has really not been my year. I'm very sorry for that. And I'm very sorry that I haven't been here to help give you the content that you really appreciate. So thank you so much, and thank you for still coming around, and thank you for watching and just being you, and thank you for supporting the channel monetarily. Like I said, just you enjoying means a lot, but you thinking that this deserves any amount of your hard-earned cash, I do appreciate. Saliva, thank you so much for the tier 1. My mouth is dry, I'm sorry. I love this channel. I'm going to pay the shark tax. Thanks for the love. And Tyrannix, favorite emotes out for the tier 3 from Tyrannix. And being incredibly pog, all of you, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the tier 3. Didn't say anything. They just dropped the tier 3 and fucked off. That's crazy. They dropped the tier 3, told me to fuck off, and then you know what? I will. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stop being just leftist. Be radical. Be evil. It's time. It's showtime to be evil. It's really time. I think what's plagued the Democrats for a really long time has really been civility politics. For a while, it was working, but as far right as Republicans have been, since denying Democrats since denying Obama filling Merrick Garland's seat in the Supreme Court back in 2016, I think that should have been a moment. I think that should have been a moment to wake up a lot of Democrats to say that we can't keep treating these people the way that we have been, and it's time for a change. It's time for a change in the way we treat them. And how as insanely far right, racist, and fascist the Republican Party has been, I've been seeing something break. There's been like a mental break for a lot of liberals and progressive people. There's been a lot of despair. There's been a lot of people giving up. But I think it's time for the Democrats to start utilizing a lot of that fear and anger for political change for the better of the country, right? We can complain all day, but complaining is not going to change how Republicans act. And hoping that they're going to act better is not going to actually make that happen. Republican politicians are happy being hated as long as they still have power. That's all that matters to them. They only understand power. And so that's something that we need to be able to take from them, because they're going to harm the country and harm the people of this country and harm the world if they're allowed to continue to hold and be able to gain power, and we want to help people. We even want to help conservatives, right? I don't want to harm conservatives. I want them to be able to have healthcare and be able to buy a home and be able to raise families and pursue a job that doesn't subject them to menial, harmful, or dangerous labor. I want them to be paid well, but I don't want them to have power in my country. That's what I don't want. Actually, that's what I don't want for them. And I think it's something that should have happened a while ago, but I think there's a real opportunity for Democrats to make a big change when it comes to how they act, and in turn, a massive change when it comes to the amount of races that they win. Why do I think that this is definitely possible? Let's take a look back through history, back to 2010. A little before that, even Dick Cheney, back when he was the vice president, worked with the Senate to become ruthless and unhelpful when it comes to politics, where not helping Democrats actually get stuff done, to make strife and turmoil within our legislative process that makes the country worse, but in strategic ways that give them power, that so they can blame it on Democrats and then take it from them and get their own policy positions done. That's something that they've been very good at doing for a long time. The coalescing of that happened in 2010 when nationwide gerrymanders happened after the 2010 census, leading to, 1 second, I'm sorry, my chair, I'm falling in my chair, leading to insane gerrymanders across Republican-controlled states, in the country. This was a massive turning point for our country and for the conservative the movement in our country. This was a massive turning point, because that's when they found out that they can be evil, but it works. They can be evil, but it's okay if they still win. That's fine. They can go very far, and they could like scratch at the foundation of freedom and liberty in our country, as long as it was for their own benefit, and they could blame it on Democrats, or people don't even know what's happening at all. Because if by the time they realize that it's a problem, they can't do anything about it, they win. Because even if they lose in the short term, they'll win in the long term. And that's what happened in 2012 when Obama and them got completely crushed, completely obliterated. And House Democrats lost 65 seats and lost the House. And the gerrymander from 2010 was so bad that Democrats did not gain control of the House again until 2018. It had been almost a decade for almost an entire census period. Democrats had been completely locked out of one of the most powerful of like the lower house of our country because of the 2010 gerrymander and because of how powerful that was for moving on into the future. It had a profound effect on how Republicans viewed politics, because when that happened, they realized, yeah, it was bad, but they weren't punished for it, because even if they thought they would be punished for it, they were able to gerrymander the voters away from themselves, who would punish them for voting for them. They'd punish them who would have punished them by voting against them. They're now unable to vote against them because they were gerrymandered out of their district. They were able to choose the voters that would be okay with anything that they did, because either they didn't know or didn't care or supported what they were able to do. The gerrymandering was wrong. And we for a long time, especially during the Obama administration, the they go low, we go high is something that crushed Democrats for a while. The not trying to get in the mud, the trying to uphold some sort of like a decency has only made Democrats suffer, really, until 2020. When 2020 happened, Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Pelosi, and Biden all agreed that there needs to be a change. Democrats did pretty well when it came to Democrats did pretty well when it came to 2020, meaning that they were able to hold way more power in legislative houses around the entire country, because thankfully through population change, the 2010 gerrymander from Republicans started to have way less effect at the very tail end of the census period. When that happened, they were able to gain a lot of power and then counter gerrymander. They counter gerrymandered. They made insane maps in Colorado, in Nevada, in New Jersey. They had a really bad one in New York, and their worst one, the most evil of all. Let me show you the worst gerrymander, and their crown jewel of evil. I think is this what I would consider probably the worst gerrymander in the entire country. The Illinois congressional district map. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Let me see if I can pull this up for you, because this is genuine. this is pure evil. This is pure evil. Let me show you this. Let me show you this thing. Okay, here it is. It almost hurts to look at. This is the very definition of a gerrymander. This is the definition of playing unfair. Look at this. Look at this map, dude. Look how bad this is. It's hard to really tell you. It's hard to really tell you how bad this is. It's hard to kind of see how bad this is. But look at how nasty these districts look. The creatures that they were able to draw up. How absolutely ridiculous and nonsensical these districts wrap and weave around each other. Look at this city. The city limits. They're cutting. The closer you get, the crazier it is. They were cutting streets in half to create the most horrific map I've seen in my entire life. This district, that was the 16th congressional district, goes from the top of Illinois almost down to the middle, just creeping around. What in the world do people up here and down here have in common besides the way that they vote? The answer is nothing. The 17th is insane. The 17th is insane. It captures 4 cities. Rockford up here. Then there's Glensburg over here, Macomb. I don't know what this one, in Bloomington as well. Look at these cities cutting literal streets in half. They cut homes. They had to cut bedrooms in half if they could. It's pure evil. It's pure evil, this map. But it's perfect. It's amazing. It's a great map for doing one thing, and that's countering the Republican gerrymander in places like Florida and in places like Texas. This map does a fantastic job at stopping the Republicans from getting an unfair advantage in the House of Representatives because of how bad their gerrymanders were. If we can take Democratic states in 2030 and turn every one of them into Illinois, we would have close to a fair map. We would have close to a fair House of Representatives chance for either party being in power. And that's sad to say, but this map does that perfectly. If you take a look at this, okay? In 2020, Biden won Illinois by 17 points, and you can just see how crazy these districts are. There's not a single district in Illinois that's a swing district. Not one. They've completely eliminated swing districts, and they've only made three Democratic. They've only made 3 Republican districts. That's why these gerrymanders look like that. How many blue? Let me see if I can. Find this really quick. They have 17, so 14. This is a 14-3 map. There's a 14-3 map. This is a 14-3 map. Crazy. a crazy gerrymander, but it works. One republic, they're all contiguous, one Republican district. Yeah, and this one up here isn't even like a super Republican district. This one's over 40. This one's much closer to 30 to 40. And all of these districts are non-competitive at all. These seats, they've basically taken almost every Republican voter in the entire state of Illinois and dropped them into 3 districts. Horribly unfair. Horribly wrong. If every state had a if every state had a if every state had the ability to have a nonpartisan districting commission, I think this would be something that should have been illegal. If not, Democrats need to do more things like this, because if not, they'll be completely locked out of power. And how fair is it for the rest of our country to be forced to be subjected to something like this without any recourse in fighting back? Let me just show you how crazy one of these districts are, okay? There's one in here, it's a little hard to see. Here's one of the Illinois districts. Look at this thing. Look at this. Look at this. At some parts of this district, some parts of this goddamn district, man, it almost becomes as thin as a street. Helps not wrap up like a single voter that they don't need to. They went down to only capturing just like running down a couple of streets, because each district has to be contiguous. So they just dodge individual houses to make, the claw. It's barely contiguous, yes, to make like the claw. Look at this. This is evil. This is evil. This is evil. It really is. But to have a fair chance of ever holding power, Democrats need to do stuff like this. It really does need to happen. I think a lot of Republicans' reach in power comes from not only what the Republican base, not only from what the Republican base does, but how the Republican base interacts with their Republican power legislators, power holders, right? Because listen, the power that comes from people like libs of TikTok isn't simply because of the reach that they have. A lot of it comes from that, but it comes from the fact that it's not sequestered. It's not closed off into only talking to other people without power, just normal people on the ground. The power from places like libs of TikTok and the Daily Wire, and the Joe Rogan podcast, and all of these types of political organizations comes from their ability to interact with, control, dictate. Turning Points USA, control, dictate, and even influence the way that their politicians act and what they believe and what they do. And now, not all of it works. A lot of it is very stupid. But Democrats are a whole lot less insane than Republicans, and the ability to be able to strategically use that power better is something that Democrats have as an advantage over Republicans, right? A lot of people are talking about the left-wing Andrew Tate. This is why I mentioned this earlier, right? Because Gen Z male voters have moved more right-wing. Everybody moved more right-wing in this election, but there's a big swing there. And a lot of them didn't vote either, which is another big reason for why we saw like a really big swing as well. But the fact that they're able to have this sort of like echo chamber effect of growing power is because their politicians care and interact and help foster those feelings that lead to political power, right? Now, those feelings that lead to political power, okay? We thought it was insane. We thought it was crazy to hear Republican politicians talk about things like litter boxes in schools, or talk about transgendering kids in school, or like any of these other things that have like the culture war. The CRT, CRT was a big one. The critical race theory, the DEI have this become like large Republican talking points. But what that did, it wasn't just something they did for fun. It moving from something that talking heads and something that just people on the ground believed in Facebook and tweeted and like talked to their friends about into something that's in halls of Congress. That's power. That's power transferring and reverberating from the legislators down to the people, the voters, the constituents, and back and forth. And that power grew. That got people engaged. They felt that their politicians were listening and caring about what they said because they were. Now, caring about them for a better future is something that they're not. The way those politicians are preying upon the fear and anger and hatred, they're eating it to give themselves more power. It's not like Republican candidates are doing good things for their constituents when they get that power. They just give themselves more power and give their backers more money, those billionaires who actually help fund their campaigns. But if progressives are able to influence the Democratic Party in similar ways, to use that sort of power to help people feel more listened to and more heard and more engaged for actual good, like improving healthcare, improving the way city planning, public transportation, the poverty and building houses and doing those types of things instead, that's once again real power. That's once again real power that can be made off of helping foster a lot of these feelings that are in the community that can be translated into legislative wins in the future that just make the world a better place. And I think Democratic voters are really ready for this. And I think the only thing that matters is media control. The election proved it. No, I don't think that's the only thing. Well, for one, what the election proved is that people hate inflation. That was the real thing that it proved. But when it comes to media control, the reason why those podcasts and stuff like that are so big is because politicians gas them up. Actual politicians gas them up. It's one thing to have a YouTube channel. It's another thing to have a YouTube channel that a sitting governor comes on. Okay, that you're buddies with like a governor. You're buddies with like the damn vice president or now like possibly president of the United States. The only real podcast that Kamala Harris went on was like the only podcast that Kamala Harris went on or like gassed up or anything was oh hey Puppo was Call Her Daddy, right? Which was good. If she did more of that, that would have been even better. Trump went on like tens of these podcasts that now people never even heard of, but now is going to help build more power for Republicans in the future, specifically because now they have more viewership because they have something. Because like, are you going to not like care about an influencer who has like the president on sometimes? I had to cut the street in half. It was too big for him. Oh no, my razor blade. Come here. You see him? Come on. Come on. Good boy. He nibble. Good boy. But yeah, they all gas each other up. It's that echo chamber. The echo chamber helps build extra power. It really does help build extra power, 100%. And rich people also coming together to help facilitate that connection is something that the left really doesn't have. We don't have like an Elon Musk doing that. If Warren Buffett did the type of things that conservatives think that they did, we'd be in a way better place, but that just doesn't happen. There's not the same money base there. And Democrats are just disconnected from a lot of Democrats are just disconnected from how their constituents feel. Republicans aren't. They're very connected with how their constituents feel. Donald Trump became super racist, sexist, and homophobic, transphobic, all this type of shit because he's connected with how a lot of his base feels. A lot of his base feels that way. They weren't holding up the mass deportations now, something we'd see in a black and white photo from the 1940s, because it was just fun. That's how they felt. They fostered that feeling in their constituents and then scooped it up. They harvested it for power. If we could do something similar, but with good things in for like the liberal base, I think that would be way better for our entire country, and I think they're ready for it. Honestly, there's been something that I've been not wanting to talk about. I try not to engage with it, and for like the TOS of the channels, I'm not going to be engaging with it too much, but I just want to talk about something that I feel very interesting, that I've seen, and it is something very interesting that I've seen, and it's how the Trump era has really, and how he has like fostered a lot of that fear mongering, anger, and conspiracy that is come to a head in the Republican Party, and it's spilled over into the Democrats, and it's grown quite large. Have you guys noticed how like conspiracy and anger has grown in the like in like the Democratic base? Have you guys seen that? Because it's kind of wild. Remember when the assassination attempt of Donald Trump happened, like back in July, only like 4 months ago. If you remember, literally only 4 months ago. What was one of the biggest things that you saw after that, right? Outside of conservatives saying that it was that like God redirected the bullet into a Trump supporter's head. Outside of that, right? What was one of the biggest things that you saw? What I saw from like even unengaged normies, not like political people, it was nobody giving it a hoot. You're right. But it was people who did give a hoot, but who were conspiracy mongering like crazy, saying things that just weren't true. Saying things that weren't true, but could be powerful if harnessed by a politician. Not saying that it's good if they do that. I don't support that, but let's just take this one thing where people said that Donald Trump wasn't actually shot. Did you see that? There were so many people. There's so many massive tweets and posts about Trump not actually being shot, how he was faking the entire thing. There was really two types of people, and still to this very day, there's people who either didn't care or people who thought that he was faking it. And now it wasn't fake. It was a real shooting. But it definitely was something that he would fake. If that Donald Trump, that prima donna princess bitch, would definitely like ham up or lie about something like that if he thought it was going to give him extra power. He definitely would. 100%. And there's a lot of people who felt like he was actually faking. And I was talking out against it. I was like, this isn't something that we should be. This isn't real, this is not true. It's not true, but it's a real feeling. And it made people really hate Donald Trump more and got people actually interested in politics and involved, right? I thought that was really curious because I don't use TikTok. I don't use TikTok. I spend a lot of my time reading like news articles and stuff like that, right? But I will say one thing, which is that I sometimes my GF, my girlfriend, is a big TikTok fiend, and she doesn't use headphones. So I hear a lot of stuff that just comes up on her TikTok feed, and she's not really into politics. She's not into all that type of stuff. Really, not like me. I don't yap to her about politics very often. But I will say one thing is that on her timeline, on her feed, something that was a continuous thing that came up was people making conspiracy theories about Donald Trump's ear and the Butler shooting. Constantly. Like every other video was somebody doing the Jarvis enhance, like zoom in, look at his ear for like weeks afterwards as well. And even still today, people are talking about that. It got so bad, it even went to when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. Even Joe Rogan was at there like dropping like conspiracy hints about, were you really shot? I saw like 3 TikToks about the same conspiracy. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Kamala Harris should have been like, oh yeah, it was really fake. I don't think she should do that. But I think she definitely should have been like, it's definitely something Trump would have done. Getting people interested in that way and validating the way people feel, as long as it's beneficial, I think is something very powerful that Democrats can do to build power in this country. I feel like denying that from people helps disconnect them from from listening to you further on in the future. Now, helping, like directing them to good outcomes is very important. Is very important. But like completely denying the way people feel, I'm unsure how much that would have helped. I'm not talking about really for this election. I'm talking about moving on to the future and being connected with your base. Not specifically about like how this would have instantly shot Kamala Harris into winning. That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the future. All right, not the past. Just to be clear. Another way how Democrats really could have used this, you knew I was going to say it. Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sorry. It has to be said. Many people aren't talking about it. Many people aren't saying it when they should. How in the world can a guy who's friends with a billionaire who wants to put microchips in your head, who was best friends with one of the most prolific and evil PDFs in the entire world, who trafficked kids through his casinos and in his own home, lived next door to Jeffrey Epstein as well, was on his flight logs, was president, and could release the Epstein files, but then made up some random reason for why he didn't, and nobody talks about it. Nobody says anything. Not a peep out of Democrats ever about why this is the case. The idea that the fact that Donald Trump is a convicted rapist falling off of the map when it comes to how they talk about him, crazy. The fact that Kamala Harris was never like, this guy wants to assault our country, just like how he's been convicted from, Donald Trump wants to assault our country the same way he's been convicted of assaulting women. Anyways, how'd you feel when your best friend Jeff passed away in jail? Did you have anything to do with that? That is just such a huge missed opportunity. They should have shouted about it. There should never have been, and there should never be a single interview that Donald Trump has where he doesn't have to talk about his connection with Jeffrey Epstein. That's not something that should exist. That is a huge failing on the Democratic Party. And that's something that needs to happen. It needs to happen. The fact that childless cat ladies got more play than the president's rapist pedophile bestie. What? Just think about that for a second, okay? Just think about that for a second. Worst pedophile in the world, best friends and next door neighbor to the guy running for office, but the childless cat lady's comment got more play. What's happening? This is called stupidity. This is called poor politics in this world where clicks and views mean a lot. Democrats need to become more angry. They need to become more ravenous. They need to start jumping and preying upon these things way more than they have. There's no reason why they shouldn't. And I'm not saying lie. I don't want them to lie. We don't need to make up stories about Donald Trump's connections with Jeffrey Epstein. The Republicans make up stories about Kamala Harris's connection with Diddy. We don't need to make up stories about Kamala Harris and Elon Musk's connection with people like Jeffrey Epstein. It's just real. We could do things that they do that's powerful, but don't lie, because we don't need to lie. Progressives and Democrats don't need to lie to say the same things or even worse things about Republicans that Republicans say about Democrats or progressive candidates. We don't need to lie. We can go crazy on these people and never tell a singular lie ever. We could beat beat on their heads like a bongo with so many crazy things and so many crazy stories, but they just don't. They don't prey upon it like they should. It doesn't. There's not that reverberation that gets instilled into their voter base and then reverberates back and forth with the politicians feeding that. I think a lot of Democrats are really prepared to be angry. I think a lot of Democrats are really prepared to be angry, and I think that should be used for making the country better. I think that I really think that should be used. Right? Let me see if I can pull something up for you right here, because I've been saving just like a couple of things. I saved like a couple. Let me see. No, let me see. Where did I put this? Where did I place this? Yeah, boop. Let me grab this. Let me grab this. I found it. I found that these two things that I thought was like, these two things that I thought was super interesting, and this as well. So these are tweets that absolutely went crazy after the election, and I just want to talk about them a little bit because they all show different variations of like anger and insanity, and I just think they're interesting to talk about, right? So here's this guy: women threatening sex strikes, like Lamau if you have a say. What is that supposed to mean? It's from a conservative, but he's like, yo, what's that supposed to mean? Yo, Trump wins and they come out and bro comes out as Captain Rapist. This got a lot of play. This has like a crazy like 200,000 like tweet on it of somebody attacking this person. Why this stuff should be preyed upon. Random things random conservatives say should go crazy. The fact that Kamala Harris didn't talk, and like just Democrats in total just don't talk about and coordinate talking points that just hammer on conservatives constantly about like the evil things that they do and say is wild. I think this tweet should be talked about by like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, governors across the entire country, Democratic House members. Stuff like this should you should see it everywhere. Every single time that a Democrat goes on TV or then goes on like a show on like Twitch or YouTube or like a podcast or something, you should see stuff like this constantly. You should see stuff like it shouldn't have disappeared. The fact that Donald Trump had dinner with Nick Fuentes. A lot of people just forgot about that. That stuff that was just never said. This type of stuff should be amplified everywhere. Every mistake that they make should have a spotlight on it, and this should be amplified like crazy. This as well that I thought was pretty wild from Fuentes himself. He little dog just hopped on my bed. He posted "Your body, my choice forever." And this Twitter poster, this husband and dad veteran, posted, "Little boys were saying your body, my choice to girls at school today, but tell us more about how scary books in the library are." Why is this not? This is a guy who had dinner with Donald Trump. Why is this not everywhere? Why isn't everybody on MSNBC, NBC, and CBS talking about this? And why is that not forced to be something that the news agencies talk about by politicians who go onto there and hammer this constantly, or go to their constituents and tell them about this and hammer this constantly? A lot of people just don't know. There's a lot of people who just don't know this type of stuff, how like rapey they've gotten. And there's this as well, which I think is possibly the most egregious of a feeling that I see building inside of like the Democratic base that I think makes them primed for anger and to build power, which is really wild. Take a look at this. Something so fucking strange. Why is she not demanding a recount? Right? What does this mean? This is a Democrat. There's a Democrat voter who is unironically like stop the steal. This is stop the steal level conspiracies from a Democrat. 200,000 likes in a day. 200,000 likes in a day. And people in the comment section, they're posting like crazy graphs. There are at least 200,000 people out there who are like This makes no sense. Donald Trump stole the election. I don't think this specifically, to be clear, I don't think this specifically should be, boosted necessarily by any politicians. But the anger about how this election turned out absolutely should. Absolutely should. Look, the correct comment, because they're not done yet. And then the insane conspiracy comment. So is this all just unofficial based on prediction? How are they allowed to make an announcement and speeches before counting is done? This person is so uneducated. This person has no clue what they're talking about. They are perfect prey for Democrats to become a lifelong voter. Perfect prey. Perfect prey. Perfect prey. So angry. So angry with like nowhere to put their anger. So upset. So feeling so hopeless. I think they should be given a role. Voter, activist, organizer. That's what I think that should happen. Take that anger and turn it into political power. They are primed for this. And I've heard stuff like this, right? Because like I haven't been streaming a decent amount because I've been out. I've actually been out of the chair and in public a whole lot. I haven't been, like I said, I haven't been feeling super well. I've seen this from like real people. I've seen this from people out in the real world. Chat. I was at the gym and I heard people talk about how Trump's assassination was fake. I was in the grocery store and I heard people talk about how this election is looking fishy. I was just in like normal places with normie people watching, like just kind of peeking at them, watching normie videos of like crazy Democrat conspiracy theories. Or just being angry at something that Republicans have actually done, and stuff that I just wouldn't have seen or expected from a while ago, which is definitely something that I think Democrats should use to get power. I think it's time to go scorched earth with them. I really do. It's absolutely time to go scorched earth. It has been a long time, but if now is what is like the wake up call for that to happen, the best time to do it was before 2020, 2016 minimum. It's very late now, but it is absolutely time now, if there was any time for that to happen, for Democrats, for progressives to start building this type of power. It absolutely is. Because disconnected from your voter base is something that will never lead to actual positive change for your political movement. And just reaffirming how people feel. I'm not saying become conspiracy brand. Like I said, we don't have to lie to get people invested. I don't have to lie to you about conservative stories that come up. I could just tell you the truth. The reality when it comes to conservatives is much scarier than fiction. The reality of conservatives is actually scarier than the fiction that conservatives want to make you feel about Democrats and progressives. Way scarier. Way scarier. They go low, we become subterraneans, I think. It is definitely time for a scorched earth approach to them that I really feel like we'll do a whole lot. Shark, you are so evil in a very, very spicy way. Like I said, no conspiracies and no lying. No conspiracies and no lying. There's no need for lying and there's no need for conspiracies. But I do think that Democrats should be cognizant of and be respectful of the way people feel. Sad truth cannot beat cognitive dissonance. I think it absolutely can. I think it absolutely can. Because it gets more people to believe it. Like actual truth gets people to believe it. What makes truth hard to believe is sometimes it's nowhere near as salacious as lies. The problem is conservative truth is more salacious than conservative lies. Democrats just don't do anything with it. The closest they actually got was Russiagate, actually. That was the closest they actually got. I think that was the closest they actually got to realizing that that stuff is real and powerful. I genuinely do believe so. But it wasn't talked about. The Russiagate thing never reared its head in the election season. It just hasn't. And it definitely should have. It definitely should have. The Epstein thing, the Russiagate thing. Harris touched on it a little bit when it came to light that Trump was giving respirators to Russia over American citizens. That should have been hit on way more. They go Nazi, we go Wolfenstein. So true. So true and real. So true and real. Do we think that we can get a part of Trump's base to flip? Nah, I'm not really sure if we can get a part of Trump's base to flip, but we don't really need we don't need Trump's base to flip at all. Trump's base is smaller than like the Democratic base. At the end of the day, people like Democratic policies. They just don't really like Democrats that much. In the states that Kamala Harris underperformed in and or lost, these are the type of ballot measures that won. This is Missouri, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is Missouri. These are two bills. These are two ballot initiatives that won in Missouri. Require paid sick leave. 74% voted yes. Raise minimum wage. 57% voted yes. 76% of votes. These are insurmountable leads on both. There is no way. It makes no sense if you just think about it. If there's no sense, it makes no sense if you just have like a glancing idea of the election politics that a state like Missouri that votes like 20 points for Republicans, but votes for Democratic policies down ballot, just like Florida does. And there's no reason why this really makes any sense at all. But it does make sense when you realize that people like the aesthetics of Republicans, or in the aesthetics of being close to the people, and actual Democratic policies. They like Democratic policies. If you compare a list, and the polls have been done on this before, comparing Trump's policies and Biden's policies win every time. If you do a poll on who wins, who do you want to win an election, Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Donald Trump wins. What's the disconnect there? There is a big disconnect there, right? And Democrats just don't run on and listen to their base like that. They run away from the policies and aesthetics that people want to see and hear from them, but they don't. But they don't like the Democrats themselves. Republicans do embrace that populist messaging, but it's also the fact that they're very in tune with what their base. They're very in tune with their base. Now, usually people would imagine that means that they do what their base says, but I don't really mean it like that. What I mean is that they're in tune with their base the same way they're in tune with gerrymandering, right? They're in tune with gerrymandering is wrong towards the constituents. It is wrong towards the constituents, but it's very powerful for getting political power. They're in tune with what their voters do like and react to, and don't like, but also don't react to. If Republicans can do something that their voters don't like, but also don't care about, but will give them power, they'll do it. Sometimes they'll do something that their voters do care about and react to, but if they don't think that the reaction will be bad enough that they'll be out of power for long enough for it to become an issue, then they'll do that as well. It's a careful game that a lot of smart Republican strategists play that Democrats simply just don't as much. They don't burn that political capital as much, and they don't do enough raising political raising to be able to gain that power to begin with. Yeah, they're in tune with their base the same way like a manipulator is in tune with their victim. Yeah. They're in tune. Yeah, Yeah, Republicans are in tune with their base the same way a parasite is in tune with their host. When the same way a tapeworm is in tune with your lunch. Yes, that's basically what I mean. Yes, that's basically way more what I mean. Yeah, just like that. But if instead there could be like a symbiotic relationship and not a parasitic relationship between Democrats and their base as opposed to Republicans and their base, I think that is a very powerful thing. And so, like, on the media ecosystem, I think if Democrats want to have and build a media ecosystem, I think Democrats should do what a lot of Republicans do, which is go on a lot of these podcasts and talk shows. I think they absolutely should. I think Kamala Harris should have been on the Majority Report and David Pakman and like shows like Tyler Baron Cohen. Why the fuck was Kamala Harris not doing a sit down with Legal Eagle? What? That actually, I think that possibly could have gone gangbusters more than a Joe Rogan interview. And boosting that type of power could have gone crazy. Even Midas Touch, right? Even Midas Touch, and I hate to say it, at least like Rebel Report, maybe not like big TYT themselves, but even like Rebel Report. If Democrats want that sort of base, it's there. They just need to build it. They just need to foster it. That's what they need to do. They need to foster it. They need to work for it. Democrats need to want to win. Right now, they don't. They don't want it more. They don't want it as much. They don't. But they could. And that's basically what I mean, is that we need an attack dog. Damage report would have been good too. We need we need an attack dog. But we need like attack dogs for the attack dogs. We need the entire Democratic base for this to be like a traumatic experience for them that turns them evil, you know? We need their hair to turn white and for them to never smile again. Black nail polish hair to turn white and just be my painful backstory. This needs to be their traumatic backstory. Flashback. It needs to be that. I think it absolutely does. And they can embrace that progressive. And also embrace those progressive politics, because a lot of people say that like being seen as too liberal is harmful for Democrats, and it is harmful for Democrats, but I just don't think so. I don't think so. I also don't think that being seen as too conservatives is harmful for Republicans either, right? I just don't think so. I don't think being seen as like more radical or extreme is necessarily that bad either, as long as you can make up for it in different ways. I really don't think it matters, right? And I think one of the biggest things that really made me feel people don't care about radicalism. They care about populism. They care about if they think you're gonna make the trains run on time. Really, as crazy as that sounds, that's what they really need. Because one of the things that really got me on this is because the long history of Democrats tacking to the right and trying to seem as more conservative. All it really does is turn off your base. All it really does is turn off your base and not have them come out nearly as much. Honestly, like, Democrats really don't need Republicans or moderate Republicans to come out for them just like that. What they need is people in general to feel like they're listening to them and fighting for them. That's what they really need. To be more in tune like that. And a great way to do that is being in tune with content creators. And those content creators are seen as more in tune with their base, with their viewer base, and in turn can become voters and political organizers and activists as well. Kamala Harris should have went on like Pod Save America too. Honestly, yes. More politicians should do that as well. We do need there needs to be a vibe check in the DNC. There absolutely does need to be that. And also I think there is an impetus for this to happen. There really is an impetus for this to happen within like the Democratic Party itself. A lot of people forget, but after Joe Biden won in 2020 and Democrats got a trifecta, do you guys remember what Chuck Schumer did right after that? What he did right after that was gather all of the Senate Democrats, gather all of the House members, and they made a plan. right? They were writing down a plan of executive orders on day one for Joe Biden to do just rapid fire crazy shit down, right? And because remember, I don't think it's the liberal or conservative thing, like being too liberal or too conservative thing really matters to a lot of people. It's what they think that label means. Right now and for a while, liberal has meant that you're not good on the economy, and conservative does. And so that's why people are okay with that and the aesthetics and vibes of Republicans, even though vibes are literally all Republicans have. If Democrats have vibes and substance, I think that is a killer combo that can really do good for this country, and progressives need to prey on that while Democrats are in a weakened state to be able to grab a hold and grab power. It's time for AOC to make moves in the party right now to be able to build power and help make Democrats angrier and more and make them more of attack dogs. I really think that is an incredibly beneficial thing that Democrats could absolutely do for in the future to have their voters be way more engaged. There are so many charismatic people out there, way more charismatic than Trump. That's like, and I honestly think a lot of people like to say it. They got it a little bit in Pete Buttigieg. They do. You saw that Pete Buttigieg was on fucking Jubilee. Did you see that? That Pete Buttigieg was on the Jubilee roundtable debating conservatives thing. That's some crazy ass bullshit. Why the fuck is the transportation secretary doing that? Because it works. Because it goes crazy. Buttigieg has been impressing me because it goes crazy. It does go crazy. There needs to be more Tim Walz Crazy Taxi streams. There needs to be more AOC on like the Majority Report, you know, like stream me even maybe streams like this too. Right? And stop caring so much about like the PR. Dude, the Republicans can face PR disasters, but there's just so much stuff coming out constantly that it just simply becomes white noise. Sometimes it breaks through a little bit, but it's not like it really mattered it's not like it even really mattered when it comes to Donald Trump and the garbage comment at the Madison Square Garden rally. That didn't mean anything. It meant like a little bit with some Puerto Ricans, but it didn't really mean anything at the end of the day. Some people might not even remember. Some may not even remember. Even at this moment. So, I think that what's really important is if Democrats really want, if rips up. Oh yeah. Oh sorry. Here just 1 second. Thank you so much, Sake Tsunuki, for the 5. I really appreciate you. Thank you for the love, for the 5. Favorite emotes out for Sake Pookie. Incredible friendo of the stream. I guess Orange is the New Black season just dropped. What the fuck? I bet that post went so crazy. November 6th, 2016. That one definitely went crazy back then. It's got a little tingle right now. It's got some heat to it. I feel it. It's a little spicy, but back then I know that shit would have gone gangbusters, dude. Absolutely. Favorite emote out for Sake Pookie. Thank you so much. Thanks for the love. RFK Jr. content should have been enough alone to put him in. yeah. So like, yeah, dude, like RFK Jr. RFK Jr.'s connection with Epstein too. Like that really should have been everywhere. It really should have been everywhere. It really should have. It needs to be everywhere. It really does. Democrats need to just not worry about PR as much, worry a whole lot more about vibes They really do. And worry a whole lot more about connecting with their base emotionally. Emotionally connecting with their base. Like if you sense the base is angry, you get angry. If you sense the base is sad, you get sad, right? And even kind of trying to nudge along those feelings. Because no real conservatives really felt angry with whatever random shit that Biden mumbled that maybe sounded like him calling people garbage. But them trying to make it into like a big issue is something that is useful, though. You can invent stuff. Like they just invent stuff. Democrats don't need to invent stuff. Progressives don't need to invent stuff. Leftists don't need to invent stuff. They need to invent stuff, which is a harder task implicitly. We don't have to work is difficult. We don't have to have work as difficult. We really don't. Even hopping on Hassan's stream. Even hopping on places like Hassan's stream. Just go crazy like that. Just go crazy like that. It really does. Building that level of power. Because not only does going on those programs help boost those programs' views, but what it does also is it forces the news to be cognizant of those programs, to watch those programs, and then even post them online. And post them on like national TV, right? No matter what you think about the crazy podcast, globetrotting that Trump was doing, the fact that now, fucking like Chris Matthews and Rachel Maddow is cognizant of who Aiden Ross is insane. It's crazy. That's wrong. There is something wrong in that shouldn't be a thing. That doesn't make any sense. But for when it comes to power building in the future, it's very powerful. Hassan would die before he plays nice to a Dem. Well, that's why I think Democrats should embrace progressive values a whole lot more as well. People don't dislike progressive values. They dislike the more aesthetics, but we can build better vibes and aesthetics. That's a lot easier of a game to play than I think that they make it out to be. I think we deal with Trump now, the dictatorship now that we're living under. I don't know, man. Wake up the next day, go to work, live. Talk to your friends and family. Play video games when you're bored. Become an activist. Work with your local community. Build political power. Stay together with people. Anyone with political aspirations cannot go on the Hassan stream. I think you could. I think you probably could. But definitely safer bets are places like way safer bets are places like Pod Save America, Midas Touch, Majority Report, Tyler Baron Cohen, even what's that kid's name, Wittens or whatever, who's been doing the rounds, talking to conservatives recently. Yeah, those guys really go crazy, and also with other podcasters and content creators as well, doing that type of stuff, just everywhere, just like build up that type of power. I really think you can. I really think you can. I think it would be really powerful. Luke Beasley, yeah, that guy, yeah, that kid too. Yeah, AOC's been on Hassan's stream and like it didn't really matter. And it didn't matter. Nobody cares. Especially Democrats don't care. Because like here's the thing, it's a lot about fire. These days, it's way in such a polarized world, it's way more about firing up your base than it is about like having some like mass cross-party broad appeal. Biden didn't even really have that. Biden didn't even really have that mass broad appeal. You know how like those moderate Republicans voted in 20 90, I think like what, like 95% for Donald Trump and 6% for him, 94% for Donald for sorry 94% for Trump and 6% for him. You know how they voted this time around? 95% for Donald Trump and 5% for Harris. It's just not real. It's not real. It's not real. You gotta fire up your base. That shit is not real. It's not real. It's good for some aesthetics, but it's not real. It's good for some aesthetics, but it's not real. But it's not real. I think I think a lot of Dems should absolutely be like going to their base and being like, yeah, you should be angry at what conservatives have done and are going to do to the country. Yes. Obviously not hate or like violence. Obviously not. That's in case anybody needs any dumbass out there needs to hear that bullshit. But being angry, there's nothing wrong with simply being angry. And I think Democrats should be like, our base is angry right now. What can we do about it? And go to them and be like, you should be angry. You should be upset. You should be fuming mad because like Donald Trump, fascism, Project 2025, national abortion ban, mass deportation, Jeffrey Epstein child rapist. Jeffrey Epstein child rapist cheats on every one of his wives, buried his wife at his golf course and hits off his balls off of and hits his like golf balls off of her like decaying bones. Absolutely should go crazy. Absolutely should go crazy with it, yeah. That's what I think. And so like kind of to wrap up everything, right? Democrats gotta listen. Democrats way closer to the Bernie Sanders style of politics. I'm so glad Bernie's back too. But the Bernie sort of like idea in politics coming right back, and also going even further than Bernie too. Because I don't think we should stop at Bernie. We should definitely go further than Bernie, like 100%. Because Bernie is, and when I say further than Bernie, I mean like the treatment of like conservatives. Absolutely go further than Bernie. Because Bernie's too much on the Bernie's way too. Bernie's good. No, Bernie is way too. Because Bernie would not agree with this, and I think that's where he's wrong. Bernie is way too much on the the masses, the voters, they're just not being listened to, and if we just kind of listen to them a little bit more, the working class was just would come along to the Democratic Party if we just wouldn't abandon them. Oh, the Republicans, all they need is for us to be nicer to them. Not necessarily right, but he's way more on the side of don't be like mean and call them out or call them like racist or sexist or homophobic and shit like that. He doesn't do that type of stuff. And you should absolutely should. When was the last time Bernie used fascist? When was the last time he used it? He should have. So what I mean is the sense of politics, politics, like actual policy, but the aesthetics, like the rhetoric needs to go further than Bernie. It needs to leave Bernie. The rhetoric absolutely needs to leave Bernie in the dust. Absolutely, 100%. Because Bernie is still on the they go low, we go high sort of rhetoric. We need to leave that rhetoric in the past. I want to push for 2024 is where that rhetoric finally dies. It was dying in 2016 and 2020. Because remember, a lot of people think that there's been some like massive fundamental change, and I just don't think so. I don't in like the electorate. I don't think so. Remember, this is the same exact electorate that voted for Joe Biden and was really receptive to talking about Medicare for all and pathway to citizenship and like $15 minimum wage and like all these progressive policy that they still don't necessarily dislike, right? They still don't. The only thing that maybe changed is immigration a bit, but even a lot of people still do believe that a pathway to citizenship should be something that we push forward for. People just don't like the whole illegal immigration thing, right? Outside of that, this is almost the exact same constituency that voted for a guy spitting fascist bullshit like Donald Trump did. We don't have to go through all of it. What changed? It's more of like the economics that changed and the rhetoric that changed. Becoming way more conservative. Like economics was a big issue. If it wasn't as bad, if inflation wasn't as bad, I think Democrats would have fared a whole lot better, but obviously that wasn't the case. We shouldn't be we shouldn't be nice to them. There should be no playing nice. There should be no niceness. No, we gotta bury them. We have to bury them in an avalanche of attacks politically, to build power. There's no reason. Like the Bernie Sanders like niceness. Nah. Like a sort of crazy Bernie Buttigieg, but meaner. Like we need to like Bernie policy. Bernie policy. Buttigieg being everywhere for some reason, and in argumentation, both of those kind of combine together and just turn up the meanness, and then just turn up the meanness and just boil that pot and make it hot. That's what I think. That's the direction I think that Democrats should push. Angry, progressive, loud, connected with a media base that is there. Because the idea that the left doesn't have like a media base of left wing, the liberal and progressive. Because honestly, a lot of those a lot of these like media people and like influencers, a lot of them are at least bordering on progressive. A whole lot of them are at least bordering on progressive and leftist. Even Midas Touch, which I think is the furthest right wing one out there, also one of the biggest, is really, I'm not gonna lie to you, is still I think acceptably for political power building purposes, acceptably left wing enough, except for when it comes to Israel. Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that. I forgot that I meant to say this earlier, but I think but the reason why I think not only this works, but I think that the Democratic base is ready for it is weird. Remember when Tim Walz was running for what was in the Veep stakes, and he hit him with the weird, and how happy Dems were. I'm talking about like, do you remember hearing that, like that weird talk from like normies in your life, like less politically engaged people? Did you ever hear about that? Or like people being kind of being like nodding their head with the whole Walls, those people are fucking weird thing? These guys are just weird. I loved it, and normies went crazy with it. Democrat, like Dem leaning, like kind of left curious normies loved it. They were eating it up. They were eating it up. Obama was making fun. Obama made a dick joke against Donald Trump, and they were loving it. Normies loved it. They were eating it up. Now imagine if there was that every single day, and worse. Imagine if it was like that, but every single day and worse. And worse. Can you imagine? I can see it. I can see it, and it would go crazy too. I think it definitely needs to. I think that is the direction. I think that's 100% the direction that Because do you remember how angry Trump got when they were doing that? Like they called me weird. They go, and the crowd size thing too. Oh, weird and the crowd size jokes were great. Oh my gosh, dude, normies were. I've never seen normie Dems be so happy in their entire lives. I've never seen them be so happy in their entire. They were so happy being mean. The couch jokes too, dude. The couch jokes too. That shit wasn't even real, and it went crazy. It went crazy when the couch jokes and all that stuff was like popping off. JD Vance's approval rating was like it was like minus 50. Couch jokes, weird, crowd sizes. Trump hated all of them. Trump hated all of them, and normies loved it. Normies are ready for Democrats to be mean. This should be a wake-up call that being mean and a little evil, a bit like scheming, hands rubbing together, as well as connecting it with your base through content farms that are literally there, ready to start churning out slop. Okay, fuck October surprise. This needs to be a Sloptober surprise. Get ready for Sloptober. All right, Sloptober moving into Slopvember. It is time. It is time to be pumping. It's time for the Democrats and progressive legislators to help us help them pump slop right into the mouths of your average normie. Normies love slop. They do. No slop November though. It's all slop November. Sorry. It's non-stop slop. Most normies aren't even that into politics, and that's why you need to do shit like this. Most normies aren't into politics, but they are into laughing at someone. They are into watching someone squirm in pain, especially someone who seems like a piece of shit, like JD Vance and Donald Trump. People love making fun of Donald Trump. People love making fun of Republicans. They love it. It is so funny. This channel is based around making fun of Republicans, and it's hilarious. You come here waiting for me to tell you a story of the craziest of some crazy random bullshit. You come here waiting for a story about how the black insurrectionist Twitter account was actually white and he's a scammer who lives in Buffalo, New York, who cosplayed on Twitter and online as a black man who supported Donald Trump, but was actually a Buffalo white boy who has $100,000 in debt from failed business adventures with some poor woman's dead husband. That's what you come here for, okay? And it's hilarious too. If all I took, so today, guys, we want to talk about we're going to talk about how everyone's 401k can be affected by the tariffs. And that's it? Nah, man, that's boring as hell. Obviously, that should be in there, and we're going to be talking about that. But if that's the only thing that's going on, cringe. Democrats need to become haters. I guess I can wrap this all up by saying one thing, and that's Democrats need to become haters. It's time. It's time to become a hater. It's time to become a little malevolent. It's time to become angry. And it's time to be connected to the base's vibes in a way that they have not been in a very long time. It's time to cook those freaks. It's time to cook those weirdos. It's time. And I really hope that this is a wake-up call for a lot of Democrats, and it's very much time for them to start embracing the slop ecosystem that they have waiting for them. That we have waiting for them. It's right here. It's right here. We'll slap it up for you. Chat, are you doing your part? I'm doing my part. It's always Sloptober for me. That's basically it. Yeah, I think it's time. It's time to become mean, and I think it's time to become mean and angry. Being normies love being mean. Normies love meanness. They just do. And this year has absolutely proved it. They want their politicians to be mean. It's time. Normies love being dickheads. Like, actually, unironically, though. How can we participate in the slop? I mean, you could watch. You could watch. You could also find politicians like their managers, because a lot of them have like Twitter accounts and emails and stuff, and you can make them even, because there's a lot of Democratic consultant, not consultant, don't we fuck the consultants. There's a whole bunch of Democratic like managers and directors for like House members and senators who don't even know about what's going on, but having this but having somebody, especially like AOC, doing something like this and making it more well known, as I think it'd be so perfect. I think it'd be so perfect. That's what we really need. If moving into the 2030s, I believe this would, I really believe this would be great. I really believe this would be great. Yeah, that's basically my thing. Yeah, we don't talk about the consultants. If we do, we hate them. Yeah, the staffers. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, they're staffers. If you can find like a politician's staffers and then be like, hey, you know, try and get on the majority report. Hey, you should try and get on Midas Touch. Hey, you should have your guy try and get on a Pod Save America. And then I hate to say it, those guys should be way meaner too. Those guys should be meaner too. John Favreau should have Pete Buttigieg on. And as Pete Buttigieg, how many children do you think Donald Trump has had sex with Jeffrey Epstein? And Buttigieg should say, one is too many, but probably a lot. And that's why we need to get him out of office. And then Democratic normies should share that shit on Facebook. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's so true. Because it, you know, it's probably is true. Yeah, unfortunately, it probably is true. Unfort. We gotta have Democratic House members playing Tears of the Kingdom. Playing Tears of the Kingdom while talking about how Donald Trump is a rapist. It has to happen. It's time. Hey Shark, I truly wish this was just a nightmare we were waking up from, but in reality, it's much different and very favorable. The people, very favorable. That said, people, keep up the good work. Your optimism helps in this hecked up world. Hey, I really appreciate you for the love. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $10 Midnight Rider. I really appreciate you. Listen, we can turn this favorably. It's time for the Democrats to feed off of their constituents' anger and fear. I think it's time to feed off of it. Feed off of it. It's time. It really is time. We don't need leftist Andrew Tate. We need leftist Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hate to be the one to say it. I don't want to say it. I really don't. But it's true. We need crazy people. Okay? I want Republicans to walk into the halls of Congress and be like, I'm not trapped in here with them. And be like, they're not trapped in here with me. I'm trapped in there with them. Jasmine Crockett, meaner. I want her to be meaner. I want Crockett to be. We need to be meaner than Crockett, actually. Oh, the bleach blonde Bleach blonde butch body. Sheesh. Sheesh. That one was crazy. That sounds awful, Shark. Listen, it's when Crockett hit Marjorie with a bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Normies ate that. You can't tell me normies didn't eat that shit up. Normies were making goddamn remixes to it. When was the last time you think a normie was watching a congressional committee meeting? That if that energy needs to be Democrats 24/7, 7 days a week. And that, I think that will absolutely help build power. Yeah, 100%. I 100% believe that. And that will help. That does actually help build power because it gets people interested and involved. Dick pics of Donnie. I hate to say it. Hate to say it. PP pics going crazy. PP pics going insane. Hate to say it. Oh my gosh, Jill Stein actually got less votes than she did in 2016. Oh, pops off. She got less than a point. Because I think in 2016 she got 1 point, less than this time she got less than a point. Somehow Jill Stein has found a way to make herself even less popular than she was. That kind of goes a little crazy, I can't lie. That sounds awful. I mean, amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Peak. This. She wait a second. She actually almost got less votes than RFK Jr. Jill Stein actually almost got less votes than RFK. I want that to be. I want people to think about that for a second. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of insane. Didn't RFK drop out? Yeah, RFK hasn't been running for the last like 4 months. He hasn't even been running. He hasn't even been running for the last 4 months, bro. And she almost got less votes than him. I'm telling you, man. We gotta cook these people. We have to cook them. We have to cook them. Right, kingdom come. It must be done. As on earth, we'll put them in the oven. Flame broiled. Shark, no. I mean, to cook them! Like actual cooking. Like a kitchen oven. 550 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what the hell a Celsius is. I bet Jill brags about taking down Democrats. Yeah, she actually made her last tweet for the next like 8 years, and that it's cooking the Dems for not winning. She was like, once again, the two-party system delivers a disastrous result for the American people. Dude, oh chat, did you see how Jill Stein and her running mate at the end of the election like actually just turned into conservatives? Did you see that that the Green Party actually pivoted to the right further than Hillary further than like even Hillary Clinton was? Her running mate actually came out against abortion and trans rights on like a podcast. Did you see that? OMG, who could have seen that coming? Oliver has gotten more aggressive. We need to become more aggressive to these people. They deserve it. Oh my gosh, is Rachel Maddow doing election denialism on MSNBC? Has it gotten this bad?
But let me also point out something more strange, which has been happening at the same time and it hasn't had as much attention. The day before Trump made those remarks on Friday, he said, you're never going to have to vote again after you vote for me this one time. The day before that, on Thursday last week, he didn't say that people wouldn't have to vote anymore once he was elected this November. Now, the day before that, on Thursday, he told his supporters, not that they're not going to have to vote again, but that they don't have to vote this time, that they don't need to vote for him this November.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes. He said that on Thursday last week. And it turns out this is something, when you look, he says this all the time now. Watch.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
We don't need votes. I tell my people, I don't need any votes. We got all the votes we need. I don't need votes.
We don't need votes. We got more votes than anybody's ever had.
You don't have to vote. Don't worry about voting. The voting, we got plenty of votes.
Don't worry about voting. Of all the weirdness around this campaign, this is a truly strange thing to tell people, right? Don't vote. I don't need your vote. I don't want your vote. I mean, all the surface level weirdness is, worth noting.
He is yapping, true.
Literally anything you can think of as soon as any random rich guy tells you to. That's a.
I was going to say, if anybody was going to take up this sort of like mantle of just being insane, I was going to say that Rachel Maddow is definitely one. Rachel Maddow actually became the like Russia I mean, like Rachel Maddow became like the like Mueller report show while that was happening. Rachel Maddow is primed for this role of being, Father, I wash my hands, of being the left-wing Tucker Carlson. She's primed to become evil. I see it on the cusp. Just like a little, maybe this is the one push to make her evil. Maybe this is the push that she needs to become evil. Do you know how many MSNBC Americans are out there that she could reach to be primed to be evil? I'm not sure what she's getting at just yet. So I mean, she's yapping at the moment. This shit's on national TV, I'm just saying.
Weird thing, picking the eccentric billionaire's intern for your running mate, even though you apparently had no idea who he was or what a disaster he is on television. All of this is weird. But telling voters, do not bother to vote for me. It doesn't matter if you do. I don't need your votes. That is a thing that should prick up your ears. Because what that means is that he doesn't think he needs to win the vote to win the election. He doesn't think he needs to win the election in order to take power. He thinks something other than votes is going to determine whether or not he gets back in the White House.
Rachel. She's crazy. She's crazy, dude. This is actually her Joker moment, bro. What the hell? She's crazy. She's lost it. She's completely lost her mind. This is what I was talking about. I don't support this. But this was what I was talking about. Like, people, listen, it's conservatives' fault. If conservatives didn't want Rachel Maddow to possibly be spreading election election conspiracies, have you ever thought that they could just be less insane? If Donald Trump just wouldn't say stuff like he did, don't you think that Rachel Maddow might not come to these types of conclusions? If Donald Trump wasn't so crazy, don't you think that people might not think that he faked getting shot? I'm just telling you how other people feel. I don't agree with any of this, okay? But what I'm telling you is that there's a reason for why people think this. It's sad that people have to think this because of how bad Donald Trump is and the Republicans. They're doing something wrong. People wouldn't have to feel this way if they just weren't as bad as they were. Look what you made her do. Look what you made her do. I can't believe you. That's so sad. That's so sad. Don't you think, chat? She doesn't deny the election now. Yeah, I'm not sure if she's doing. I mean, maybe she's not doing election. I mean, I don't know exactly what she was doing. All I know is that was a clip posted by that was a clip posted by one of those left wing posting accounts. Really, like those left wing clip accounts. Let me do a little shout out. Thank you so much. Jesus save Justin for the 50 bits. Appreciate you. Here's some Mounty. Appreciate you. Thank you. Midnight Rider, thanks for the 9.99 super chat. Hey Shark. I truly wished. Oh, you did you mean to send the same message twice? I mean, thank you so much for the 9.99. I appreciate you, but thank you. Thanks for the love. Not sure if you meant to send the same message. Appreciate you though. You're very epic and very cool. I don't know if Rachel Maddow can be the one. I think do you have any people who are like 40, 45 plus in your life who like watch MSNBC? Do you have any resist libs in your life who watch like MSNBC? Cause if you do, chat, do you have anybody like like people who over like 45 or so who like watch MSNBC? They love Rachel Maddow. 45-year-old lesbian joker. They love Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow had one of the biggest podcasts in the entire world when she was covering like the Daily Mueller report. Of ex-coworkers, and I think yeah, it might be in Maddow or libs. Yeah, they go crazy for Maddow. Yeah, they go insane. They love Maddow. She touches on that itch. She scratches that crazy itch that she scratches that crazy itch that that people like Tucker Carlson do. The resist lib itch. Yeah. She's not Tucker Carlson. I didn't say she was Tucker Carlson. I mean, people, chat, you get what I'm saying, don't you? Chat, you understand when I say become evil, don't you? You feel me? The chat, one in chat if you feel me. She's no Tucker Carlson. Yeah, she has some growing to do. She needs to become worse. She needs to become far worse, I think. Far more evil, I think. Oh my god. Oh, Rachel Maddow, Donald Trump, Epstein history breakdown series. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. It'd be worse. It'd go crazy. On MSNBC, it'd go crazy. It'd go crazy. Interviewers asking Donald Trump how many times has Epstein been in his house? Donald Trump, you said your best friend Epstein liked girls young. How young were the girls that he brought around you? Exactly. You remember? We have a better word than evil. This is between us, okay? The normies, it's called truth. It's called being truthful and patriotic, okay? I think it's their patriotic duty to tell the truth. Yeah, vicious. It's called being an attack dog. That's basically all I'm saying. I'm being harsh with the language, but obviously it's about being an attack dog. All I'm saying is that we need the entire Democratic Party to anamorph into an attack dog. That's all I mean. Bitch, I'm a dog. Oof. Roof in chat if you're a dog. Bitch, I'm a dog. Roof. From blue dog to attack dog. Oh, can my country. That would save my people. That would save my people. That would save my people. The anti-fascist action would go crazy too. Ooh, Democrats embrace Antifa. Democrats embrace Antifa because Trump is a fascist. A boy can only dream, can't he? Resist libs need to become anti-fascist, I think. That's what Trump is. We need to become anti-fascist. It's time. I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time. Oh my gosh. This is actually getting bad, chat. What's gonna come out of this? Look at this. Liberal, atheist, free Palestine, woke, hashtag resist. This is just some this is just some person, right? Hashtag Trump cheated. This is hashtag Trump cheated. And it's this Rachel, it's the same Rachel Maddow clip. Hashtag recount is trending. There's something going on. There's something brewing inside the liberal base. They're becoming crazy. Progressives need to be there to point them in a direction of like making the country better. Because there's a power vacuum right now and they're going to be everywhere. Okay. Something's got to happen. We gotta make sure that we point them in the right direction. because this is actually building and building quicker than a lot of people think. Yeah, do not donate any of your money to any recount. Do not do that. Something is happening. I love me a hot cup of coke though. All right, well, that was fun. Don't you think, chat? Oh, hey, also medical marijuana passed in, we shot down that conservative bill to Alec. Did your amendment too? Were you guys able to get that, congressional, district, that nonpartisan congressional district? Or did that one, pass? For us, the amendment to here, that was to stop rich people from taking money that should go to public schools and giving it to private schools. We were able to kill that bill, thankfully. I'm not sure if the amendment to was stopped in Ohio though. It was like it was passed in Ohio. Our amendment 2 in Kentucky needed to be stopped. In Ohio, it needed to be passed. I didn't see. Ranked choice voting passed in DC. Crazy. Also, medical weed passed here. Thank God that Amendment 2 was total BS. It was crazy. I'm so glad that failed. We have some... I drive by some rich neighborhoods to like pick up the GF from work. And there were so many yes on 2 signs of like in like these massive yards. You know the type of yards, you know the type of homes where they need like a damn ATV to be able to pick up their mail because it's just like so far back. That's what I mean when I say where that those are the types of people who are like yes on Amendment 2. Like, you know that they're like completely rich and they just don't want to spend as much money to send their kids away from the poors in the private school that they're already in. Based on the trend, do you think we'll get dragged into another war this presidency? I mean, Trump is insane. So, I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. How's Taiwan doing, by the way? There's one person from Taiwan that I follow, and they posted the Doki Doki hanging the Doki Doki Literature claiming hanging jump scare. And the caption was me watching the US presidential election, and I was like, well, sorry, blood. Sorry, blood. It's not good. We gotta replay Celeste sometime. What do you guys think, chat? Well, anyways, I didn't want to spend all stream on... I didn't want to spend all stream on this because it makes people sad. It made people sad. You know what I kind of want to do? I kind of want to play some games. And we should, I think we could do some gaming. Don't you think, Chet? Don't you think we need a little break? A little rest? Did you play Shadow Generations? What's that? I know. I don't know what it is. Oh, you mean I've never played a Sonic game in my entire life? Nah. My ass has never played a Sonic game in my whole life. Never, not once. Neandroid, thank you so much for the tier 1. My parents are convinced the assassination attempt was staged. Also, hello, streamer. What the fuck? The Trump has started to corrupt the Democratic normies, and it might be one of his greatest mistakes. It might be one of the Republicans' greatest mistakes if wielded properly to do good. It'll be the Republicans' greatest mistake. 100%. Thank you so much for the tier 1 on the website. I appreciate you. Dr. Osmosium, when the weird thing and we're not going back stuff ended, was ended by the DNC. That's when it was all Jover. The not going back thing was never ended. What did end was Kamala Harris's stump speech where she said where she called Donald Trump an abuser. That did stop. But the not going back thing, that didn't stop. And also weird never stopped either. They just started saying it less because they were saying other stuff too. I think they should have worked it in more. But that wasn't the difference between winning and losing. Sonic the Hedgehog. Have you ever played Pizza Tower? With the Noid? With the what? I finished Pizza Tower on stream, but with the what? What the hell's annoyed? Pizza Tower's a Sonic game? I mean, I guess it's kind of like it's based off of a Sonic game, yeah. I guess. Sure. I played Pizza Tower, but I've never played a Sonic game by Sega featuring the character Sonic the Hedgehog, I guess, if I need to be a little more specific. Noid? What the fuck is a Noid? What the hell's a Noid? Noid is the old Domino's Pizza mascot? Noise? Oh. Noise. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I love you though, okay? I love you though, okay, Pookie? Remember that. Never forget that. You know, there's some new games that drop. Oh, you know what? We gotta finish Tears of the Kingdom. Chat, we never finished Tears of the Kingdom. And you know what? I never finished Elden Ring either. We're gonna have to do that sometime. We're gonna have to do that sometime. Sweet Blasphemy, thanks for the tier 1. I appreciate you. I'm tired of being white and I need my swig emote back. Yeah, people are trying to say that Alex Jones should be the press secretary for Trump's administration. So we might be using, he might show up drunk as hell. So we might be using that emote here soon a little bit more. So yeah, sub and grab yourself that up. It might be useful. I'm gonna be real. Might be useful. Might be seeing more of it soon. Chat, what are some popular? I haven't been paying attention to games recently. Like, what's a popular game that just dropped? Once Human? That shit's probably. Silent Hill 2. Oh, there's some porn game out that I went to new and popular releases, and there's some porn game called Hard Coded. That's near the top. Okay. Oh, there's 2 porn games back to back. Yo, porn games go so crazy on Steam. Do you guys ever think about that? How people are always trying to jerk off on Steam? It kind of blows my mind. I was actually shocked how porn games like are constantly popping off on Steam. There's one that dropped. It's called Sex Bot. It's about you fucking one of those Tesla bots. What the hell? What's happening? This is all in the first. This is all in the first page of new and trending on Steam. This is crazy. Like, who is buying them? A lot of people, apparently. These things pop off, dude. The porn section on Steam is it's thriving. It's thriving. It's thriving. Many people are saying this, and I am one of them. It is definitely thriving. I'm not gonna lie, all these new and popular releases kind of look ass. Maybe we gotta get back to Tekken. Yeah, Gooner Gate. Oh yeah, there's like a bevy of like porn pixel indie games on Steam, and it's just like a joke to buy like a 99-cent click to come game and gift it to your friend. It's like gifting it was like gifting bad rats back in the day. You to get in trouble for misinformation and flee the country. So true. Also coming out with a CRPG. Does that mean cum RPG? Is that what one of those like sex like porn RPG games are called? Cum RPG? See, is that what they call it? CRPG? It's like an ARPG? I actually have no clue what a CRPG means. So that was my first idea, is that it actually means cum RPG. You can play Tears of the Kingdom on PC if the Switch's performance sucks. My Switch's performance isn't that bad. I don't know if they put like I don't know if they put like the super pooter in mine, but like mine doesn't chug too bad, honestly. Computer RPG. Oh, so I was kind of right. It does have cum in the name. Kind of popping off. I kind of do want to play. I was thinking about playing Tears of the Kingdom. I kind of do want to play Tears of the Kingdom. You know what? What time is it? I have to check what time it is though. I can't go too crazy. It's 2. It's 2. Okay. Is Disco Elysium called considered a cum RPG? Yeah, probably. I don't know how much cum it has in it though. Not sure. I do have Rain World as well. Oh, we gotta play Remnant too. There's Remnant, not Remnant, I guess. Remnant. Shark, are you one of those computer gooners? You want me to show you my taxes folder? Fuck you. Mine. It's mine. Mine. Hello, hey. Okay, let me see. Do I have okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I've made my decision. It's going to make some of you upset, but I do it because I love you, okay? We're gonna stop here. At 4, I need to leave to go pick up the GF from work. And I also haven't eaten a single thing today. And so because of that, we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause here. And I'm going to grab something to eat, and we're gonna go pick up the GF later. And then after 4, and then after sometime around 4:40 to 5, we'll pick up the stream again, and then we'll game for the rest of the day. I think that's probably the best, mostly because, like I said, I'm incredibly hungry and I haven't eaten, and then after that I'm going to need to pick up the GF. So we'll just do a little pause stream here. Why do you have a girlfriend? I mean, like, I don't want to say it, but like, life can be hard for like a guy like me, right? So the big reason for why I have a girlfriend is so she could cut my hair and make sure my clothes don't stink when I put them on before I leave the house. And wake me up in the morning because I'm baby. Just like most guys, honest. A lot of guys don't want to admit it. But like, they need a little mommy GF, you know, unfortunately. So I've just like accepted it, and that's like the reason why I have a GF. And she also smells good too. That's the big reason. The infamous stream pause. That's true. So she's like your mom? No. No. Not at all. She did not give birth to me. Other way around, honestly. Just about. Take care of yourself, Shark. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so like I said, we'll take a little pause here. Also, what do you guys think of the glow box that I have over here? I know some of you may have seen it. Some of you may have witnessed it. Some of you may even be a little concerned by it. The glowing cube that I have over here. It's so badass, isn't it? Look at it. A bit too bright? Fuck you. It is a little bright. The thing is that it just has to be that bright. I was thinking about maybe buying like a cover to put on the front of it so it doesn't, you can't see it that much, but it is very bright on screen. I know it's not this bright. It's not that bright and not that blue in the real world, but the glowing cube on stream is just kind of crazy. I love the Ascendant Holy Cube. If you don't know what this is a saltwater aquarium. I took a picture and I posted it on my Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it looks, in all images, it looks so blue, but it's just kind of like a slightly, in the real world, it's just like a slightly light colored light. Like, sorry, it's just a slightly blue tinted light. This is what it looks like. If you don't know, this is what the holy glowing cube it actually looks like when you get close to it. Yeah, my Kekarak. Ocean box. Yeah, this is a saltwater aquarium. Yeah, so I think it's pretty sick. I can't wait until it's just about ready for fish to go in it. I've done basically everything. I've done basically everything. It's I have copepods in it. I have good bacteria in it. It's seeded. I have some coral. The coral are living and they're doing just fine. I have a little cleanup crew at the moment. So I think it's time. Honestly, I think soon it'll be time to get some fish in it. It's just like I don't want some fish that I'm gonna have to if I want to do more stuff with the tank, I don't want to put fish in it yet, because if I do, then there's gonna be added stress onto them. So for now, I'm holding off on fish. But this is mostly going to be an invertebrate tank. So I'm gonna have like, so my goal here, since we're chilling at the moment, my goal is to have a bunch of invertebrates in this tank. So what I want is one thing I want is a blood red fire cleaner shrimp. Have you guys ever seen one of these guys? They're so badass. This is one guy I want in here. It's these big ass ocean shrimp. So if you watch like Nemo and the cleaner shrimp that like clean the other fish, I want one of those guys. The one from Nemo is called the skunk cleaner. I want the one that's just straight up just full red, though. A whole lot of red on them. Let me see if I can pull up a picture for you guys. Put a barracuda in it. You know what? Maybe, but also maybe not. Dumbass, it won't fit a 14-gallon goober. Wait, can I get a picture? I want a good picture, like one for sale or scale, so you can see like if there's like a banana for scale or something with one, because they're actually pretty big. They're like I mean, for a shrimp, you know, they're pretty big. Yeah, one of these guys. I want one of these guys in here. It's gonna look so sick. It's gonna look so sick nasty. It's gonna be so cool. Also want it's called a court jester goby. Let me see if I can find a good picture for you for what this guy looks like. He's a really cool looking fish. Really tiny. Just a good boy, honestly. Just a nice looking guy. A nice guy and also a nice guy. Nice guy and also a nice looking guy, my bad. Bong. Boom. I want one of these in there. He just likes to num. He likes to go up to a rock and go num. He's just a kind critter who just walks up to rocks and go num and minds his own business. Minnie Mouse skirt. You know what? It's so true. Oh, did we drop a couple frames? Are we back, Marco? Yeah, so I want one of these guys as well. The cleaner shrimp as well. Also want a porcelain crab. They're these filter feeder crabs that have these little arms, and they fan the water to get stuff and then they eat it. It's pretty cool. They look pretty badass, honestly. Let me see if I can find a picture for you. I saw one at my local fish shop. And that's when because I was thinking about one, but then I saw one at my local fish shop, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's it. I was like, that's it right there. I definitely want one. I definitely want one. This guy. I want this guy in there. Look at that guy. He's so sick. He honestly, all he does, he just minds his own business too. He just posts up and starts eating. He just finds a nice spot. He just sits there. He posts up and then just starts eating. He doesn't bother anybody. He doesn't like cause trouble. He's just a guy who likes to enjoy himself and eat. I got any people who like to just enjoy themselves and eat in chat? Because OMG, that's honestly me. That's honestly me. Do not say polio. What the hell? You gotta get out of here. And also another guy, he's called like a geometric pygmy hawkfish. Hawkfish. Geometric pygmy hawkfish is what they're called. Don't make the joke. Don't make the joke. I know what you're thinking, and I don't want you to do it. Okay? This guy. I want this guy in there too. I think he's sick. Because he just like hops around the rocks and just really minds his own business. He's just sick. All these guys are just so sick. I don't know. And you can't get any of this in freshwater. Gonna catch more streams if you do them. Does Discord show you when you're live? No, I'm nuking the Discord soon. I hate to be the one to say it, but the Discord is getting nuked, and we're going to probably remake it as something different. Don't worry about it. Okay? The YouTube, if you really want to make sure you catch all the streams, then make sure that you're at least subscribed on YouTube and have the notifications turned on, because it will always notify you when my streams go live, and you can always see on your sidebar, or if you're on mobile on the top, you always should see if I'm streaming, you'll see my logo lit up in red with like a red line with a red circle around my logo, and that will indicate that I am streaming it. So that should be it. Okay. Oh, chat. Also, do you want do you want some decent news? I know we've been filled with bad news. Okay? Do you want some decent news? Right now, the Democrats are on pace to make gains in the House of Representatives. And if something crazy happens, possibly even flip it so Trump won't have a house. So Trump won't have a trifecta. It's actually possible. And this is why this is why I hyped up the counter gerrymander. Have you played Hades 2? I have played Hades 2. We can play some more Hades 2. This is why I hyped up the counter gerrymander as going crazy. Inshallah. Dude, the counter gerrymander is it was a gift from the heavens. The fact that Dems got washed, but the counter gerrymander still has them hold on it's so unfair. It's so unfair. It makes no dang sense. It absolutely makes no dang sense. So right now we're looking at we're looking at a range between Republicans gaining 2 seats and having an 8-seat majority instead of a 5-seat majority, to Democrats having like a 1-seat majority in the House of Representatives. That's the range. Right, so like the possibility of Dems actually winning the House is actually there, but from Republicans like losing seats, or Democrats even like flipping the House is actually, or yeah, flipping the House is still live. It's still alive. It's still possible. Republicans still haven't reached 218 when it comes to their seats won yet. Adam LH, thank you so much for the 10. I really appreciate you. I just want to thank you for keeping me sane. You're the best. Hey, I appreciate you. It's all you though. It's all you. I'm just here to, as a silly guy that makes content. All of this is you though. So make sure you take care of yourself. I'd love to have you back in stream, whether you donate or not. But I really appreciate the tips. Anyways, but so thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much for the love. Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna take a little break. I started streaming like real early for today, and I didn't really plan anything. I just wanted to talk to you guys today. I want to do like a little break before we have to dig into the race, autopsy, and all the other, lighter, heavier election season recap, all that type of stuff before we have to do all that. I think we deserve a little chill time. That's just basically my idea of what I'm doing here. All right, so I will see you all in like a little bit. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, I should be back around 5 to stream again, and we will do some gaming and some more talking. We'll just be hanging out a bit, so nothing too crazy. So thank you all. Take care, and I hope to see you all in a couple hours. Love ya very parasocially. Have a good one.